it's even worse with me because like my hair frizzes up whenever it gets humid.
Yeah.
So like
Mm.
it gets real bad.
It's the worst
Like,
when you say, like, man, the heat's killing me, and then your dad comes in and he's like, it's not the heat, it's the humidity.
oh my God.
Dude. Welcome back to the JLB Podcast. My name is Joker,
I'm Needle.
and we have a very special guest today. Not just a transgender speedrunner, but the transgender speedrunner. Storster, Patty, welcome to the show.
Hello. How's it going?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, Needle?
Not
I'm
too
doing-
bad, not too bad.
I'm also doing pretty good. It's like
So-
we were just talking about, it's kind of hot, but
it's so
otherwise,
hot. I hate it today. It's been like 60 all week, and then for some reason today it shot up to like 85.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm chilling in the Northeast. We've only had like one warm day the past like month.
Wow, you
Like one day it was 60, the other days have been like 35.
wow,
oh my
lucky,
God.
lucky bastard.
Yeah, I just like I don't know. Like it's cold outside, but like I said, like my apartment, like they like to turn up the heat to 1 billion when they think, oh, it's like 40 degrees, it must be freezing. Let's turn up all of the heat.
Oh
So
my
it's just like it's just blasting me in the face, and I have a fan in here, but it doesn't work that well.
I'm one of those
It's
people that thinks 40 degrees is like optimal weather.
It is, bro.
I'm like a
if-
50s kind of person.
That's fair.
Yeah, I
40s,
can see that.
50s.
Yeah.
I'm also like, I have a few extra layers of skin fat, so
Yeah,
so you
same.
know, I just happen to be a warmer person, so I like it when it's cold.
Yeah.
Anyway, speedrunning,
Indeed.
Speedrun.
quite a topic. Patty, what do you speedrun?
My primary game for like closer to 9 years at this point, it feels weird saying that, has been
My
Super
God.
Mario World. That's been my one
Ooh.
Really?
main baby off and on over the years. That's yeah.
I've actually never like
Um,
extensively talked to a Mario World runner.
Yeah, when it comes to like I'm like North American runners nowadays, I feel like we're kind of far and few in between because most of it nowadays is like the Kaizo scene. There's not really as many vanilla
Yeah.
runners.
Right. Either that
I
or like Mario Maker.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
that's
I'm kind of
true.
a dying breed.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's like yeah, you don't really hear like especially with, like vanilla SMW, you don't really hear much, and I honestly think that like vanilla SMW in terms of speedrunning is really fun. I like
Yeah,
I've been like I'm kind of interested in like 96 and like 11. Like I've done
Yeah.
11 exit before, and I thought it was pretty neat. But like 96 looks fun. I really want to like get into that.
I'd really like to
96. Yeah,
I'd really like to try one of the categories eventually. I haven't gotten the chance to. I've only ever beaten the game casually once, but I really want to return to it. It was amazingly fun every time I've ever tried it. I think it's
Yeah.
one
yeah.
of the
It's
best
honestly
Mario
quite a
games.
diverse speedrun for like an early 2D Mario game. Like you look at all the categories just on the main leaderboard. That's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. It's a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I think that it has some of the best swimming mechanics of any Mario game.
Oh, I
Oh,
agree.
hard
I'm biased,
agree.
but yeah.
Well, that's true,
That's
but
so real though.
even over like the 3D games, I think even in the 3D games, some of the swimming mechanics are trash. But
Yeah.
probably
I-
Odyssey's is the best. But
I don't know. I've
Mhm.
actually explained this. In my opinion, I kind of felt that the swimming in 3D games got worse over time. Like 64's was pretty good, I feel. Sunshine's was kind of weird because it was like the whole like you press A to ascend and B to descend, and then there's the different like there's a different form of swimming when you go in like the eel area or like
Yeah.
the bottle in Milky Bay. And then Galaxy, if you're not doing surface swimming or spam spinning, it just kind of slow. And then G2 just removed removed the spam spin. And like Odyssey's great, but it borrows from 3D Land and 3D World, which was pretty okay. Because like
Yeah.
3D Land and 3D World is fine because of the way their games operate. They're more of like 2D games than 3D.
that's yeah.
That makes sense. But for Odyssey, it's kind of like awkward and weird. And unless you're using a capture, the swimming isn't really that good. Like it's not fast, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like weird.
In 3D Land specifically, I hate the swimming in 3D Land. We did an LTA of that a while back, and there's like 2 levels where it's primarily swimming, I think, and I just dreaded
Oh
those
yeah.
so much because there's you know how you can like dive swim in the water in Odyssey and 3D World. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
just it's non-existent in 3D Land for some reason. I don't know why
Yeah.
they
3D
wouldn't
Land
think
is
to
not.
add a roll or something to go a little faster, even if
No.
even
In
like what is
Yeah,
it?
it's like weird. 3D
It
World basically set that foundation. 3D World had the ground pound jumps and ground pounding underwater, and well, 3D Land had it, but it didn't have like, yeah, like the dive thing that you were talking about. It
yeah.
doesn't have that.
It's
It's
weird
just like
because wasn't Odyssey itself built off of 3D World
3D World. Yeah, it
and
was.
then 3D
Yeah.
World expanded into Bowser's Fury, which
Mhm.
I think Bowser's Fury and the 3D World Deluxe, I guess you would call it. I think that was built off Odyssey, which was built off 3D World.
Yeah, but
It's a whole, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it goes right back to 3D World because they added the dive in 3D World Switch, which is very useful. A lot of
Yeah.
people, I remember a lot of people at the beginning like used to come like they complained because it wasn't like Odyssey's dive, but like I don't know, 3D World's dive like has gotten me out of some crazy situations. So I don't know, it's pretty good for what it's supposed to be.
I gotta play 3D World again, man. I haven't played that, or the few times that I've tried playing it in a casual sense in the last 6 months or so. I just have not been able to.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even remember if I beat it. I was like trying to like 100% it, but I never actually like finished the end of the game because I got so obsessed with collecting everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so real. That 3D World is so nice with its collecting. I like it. I don't know why. It's just fun.
Yeah.
380 stars like a good category because of that for
Some
me.
of the stars, if you don't know where they are, obviously, like you know where all the stars are because you do 380 star. But if you
Yeah.
don't know where they are, it could take you
Yeah,
hours to find them. Some of
it's a
them are just
nightmare.
super
It's like
obscure for no reason.
I don't want to sound like that for like that one person where they're like, I mean, on my first time I got them all, and like I
Yeah.
was kind of that person, but it was more because I had already like I was already like that one person that like usually explored levels in Mario games. So like even in the 2D games with the star coins, I kind of just like knew where they were, but only because like I just like to explore the games more. Like just to see like, oh, this looks weird in this area. Let me check it out. And 9 times out of 10 it was a collectible you needed or something.
Right.
So like it's pretty good for like games like 3D Land, 3D World. Like I'm
Mm.
pretty nice with like that. Sunshine though, that one's different.
Yeah. The blue coins. Oh my god.
Oof, those blue
I
coins, man.
yeah, I remember last night you were having a lot of trouble.
I was molding on Noki Bay and what was it? Noki Bay and Rico Harbor. I had 29 out of 30 blue coins, and I did a 120 run, my first one like the other day, and my split for Noki hundreds because you had to do like blue coins as well was like 32 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, this is bad. So I'm
Oh
like,
my
surely
gosh.
next time, it'll get better.
Yeah, surely,
I
right?
only I only golded by like not even 2 minutes because
Oh
I
my
was
god.
at 29 blue coins and I was like, where's the last one? And it was
And
in the dumbest spot.
and
It
Druz
was
and
just so
Swag
bad.
just kept naming them off, and though they were
Yeah,
already ones you collected, it was like the one that they didn't think it was that you didn't
it's
collect.
so stupid.
Oh,
I was so upset.
but
But yeah,
I'm not
I
gonna
mean,
lie, Sunshine is the one 3D Mario game I've just never even played. I've never touched it
really
before.
never. Do you have 3D All
I've
Stars?
watched. I do have it, but I have not played it. I only played like 64 a little bit in that collection. I'd rather I don't know. There's just so many
Yeah,
nowadays. I'm so busy making videos that there's so many games I want to go back and play that I never did, but I just don't have the time to do that. I really
that's
don't.
fair,
that's
honestly. Yeah.
yeah, really fair. I
Like,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. You're
No, please, by all
good.
means.
By all means. No, I was gonna like go in depth about the collectibles in Mario, so you should probably like go.
Oh, okay. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, the content creation. I there's a series that I want to do. Um, I hate to kind of say his name because he was in allegations a while back now. But
Mhm.
when I was younger, a big inspiration to me was Pro Jared, and
Oh
Oh yeah.
man.
he's disproved the allegations since then, luckily. But he's kind
The
of
image still isn't the same
yeah,
though.
image isn't the same. He's kind of fallen off since then, but apparently he's really happy where he is right now. which good for him. But I really want
Yeah.
to do videos like that almost. I'm just not very happy with how I look right now. But
Mm.
I'd love to do like casual playthroughs. I just want to do like game reviews. Game reviews seems really fun.
They do
I
seem
very
fun.
much want to do that too. I like
Yeah.
don't have any like outward plans right now at this moment, but I do want to start a second channel, like a proper second channel from the next year, and it'll
Yeah.
definitely be like game review kind of stuff if I do actually do it.
Yeah. The issue with YouTube right now, I think, is that there's like two types of long form content and then there's
Mm.
short form content,
Yeah.
which the long form is either Mr. Beast-esque videos or video
I
essays.
took a
Video essays on
train.
like a retrospective pretty much.
Yeah.
And I don't really like the direction it's going in right now. But I have seen less and less people talking about like the Mr. Beastification of YouTube because well he's been like screaming less in his videos.
Yeah.
They've realized that it's not because he's so eccentric. It's just because he just makes good content. Well,
Yeah.
depending on what you
Uh,
consider, maybe you don't like him. You may not.
yeah.
Maybe you don't consider him good.
I like his videos, honestly. They've been really nice to see, especially the ones where like he helps people. That's like
Yeah,
my favorite thing is when
my
like you use your channel to help people instead
yeah
of like just clout chasing. You know what I'm saying?
my
I think
favorite
it's great.
videos of his are from his Beast Philanthropy channel. Actually,
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I
Yeah, I
remember.
don't mind his videos. Like I don't really care for his videos, but I can at
Right.
least appreciate the concept, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very altruistic. Is that the word? I
I
think it is. I don't.
I
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm not smart. I don't know.
My pea brain. I think I used a too big of a word for me to remember what it means.
Oh no.
Hold on.
So-
Altruistic. The uh
I think
showing a disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others or unselfish.
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
yeah.
I'm
I
so
think that
good.
that captures pretty
It was all
well.
part of the plan.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
I
You
don't
gotta
know.
remember that.
Yeah, I'm so bad about I've like
Remembering stuff.
I have short-term memory loss, but short-term
It's
as
all
in like
good.
5 seconds ago.
I think we were talking about just like the different kinds of content that are prevalent
Right.
on YouTube
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, then there's just video essays which go over a retrospective of whatever. Like there was this 4 hour long video I finished a week ago about Vampire Diaries. And I've never watched it. It was just entertaining.
I
um
thrive with the long video form. I love it
I
so
think
much.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think something that I missed in terms of like video like types of videos on YouTube or Let's Plays, they kind of
Mhm.
died down and it kind of sucks. I used to
Yeah.
love watching those. Like
Let's
watching other people like play games. It was
I
very
feel like
fun.
streamers kind of like took that space in a way, I guess you could say. I know it's not the same
Yeah,
thing, but that's like the closest equivalent we have now.
right.
yeah.
Because like I've been like I know there's like a thing that me and our friend Chu have been doing where we're starting with this hack Mario 64 hack. It's called B3313 where we're just trying to get every star in it. But like that's kind of what we've been doing. We've been trying to like bring like Let's Plays back a little bit in that sense. And I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
been fun. Like we've been doing it side by side where we just play with each other. We're not playing the game like as in multiplayer, but we're like kind of like helping each other while we're playing the game side by side. It's fun. I like that format. It's really
Yeah.
nice.
I think Let's Plays can still be prevalent. Like if it just really depends on if you were one of the bigger Let's Players
I was just gonna
in the
Yeah,
say that size
space.
is everything. Like it's not like 2011 or whatever anymore where anyone could just go
Yeah.
on there and just upload a let's
yeah.
play. You either
Just like
have
the
to like
people.
already have enough of a name somewhere else, or you have to have some like kind of spin on it that draws people in.
Yeah,
That
like
is also true because you got to be unique.
Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, they still do kind of Let's Plays. There's a lot of editing involved, but
Yeah,
they still do Let's Plays, and they're still like entertaining. But people like I'll use Game Grumps as an example. They were huge in 2015, 2016,
Oh
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
still have a lot of subscribers now, and they're gaining slowly, but it's just not as good as a format because
it's flatlined so much.
there's no
Yeah.
editing involved in theirs. It's
Well, not even
just
that, but like Aaron is kind of like mellowed out as a person. He's less grump because that was the whole
yeah
point. where
Yeah,
Aaron was like he was always angry and
I
all
see.
that
There's
stuff.
the gimmick. Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
saw a
but
rumor.
I could understand how a gimmick like that could, die out. And it's mainly it has anything to do with like it's more of the person because eventually, you're not gonna want to be the guy that's always angry at shit. And
Yeah.
so and eventually you're gonna want to be like, all right, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. Like, because
That
it's
just kind of
like,
reminded me of like the angry video game nerd. He's definitely
Oh
not as angry as he used to be. That's for
no.
yeah,
sure.
you
I
get older,
still I
you
still
start to
love
realize like you
I
AVGN
love
need
his
to,
content still, but he's definitely mellowed out over the
yeah,
years.
for sure. Ever since Screenwave took over with
Oh yeah,
AVGN, it's just been.
yeah,
I think he's taken more control of his content ever since the whole. I think there was a plagiarism scandal. Um.
yeah. He like got slightly tied up in like I mean it's like the H bomber guy video.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's where I saw.
yeah,
Yeah, plagiarism in YouTube.
yeah. They weren't blaming him, but it was more just like just the overall system of how people just get roped into that stuff so easily.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think since then he's taken more control of his channel. I think they had like a Cinemasker podcast that they stopped because he didn't really. No one really watched it.
Yeah,
People were watching Cinemasker for the angry video game nerd, and most of the time he wasn't even a part of the Cinemasker podcast.
yeah,
It's I think it's ever been since Mike Matei left that it's just kind of gone a little downhill. But
yeah.
I, I,
He's a
s-
character
I
that yeah,
still Mike Matei is a fucking guy.
yeah.
We could go into a rant on him, but I'll save you. I'll save you the time. But yeah, people like Nostalgia Critic and AVGN. I still really enjoy their content, depending on what they're making, really.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure. I mean, AVGN is honestly like my initial inspiration for even wanting to pursue video stuff specifically more in the gaming space. I
Yeah.
have my
You
first
go,
videos
yeah.
on my current YouTube channel are now unlisted, but they were kind of like half parody rants of like from the Angry Video Game Nerd. That's definitely where I got my footing. I don't think I'd be where I am now if it wasn't for him.
oh my god,
I
I
like the way YouTube is now. It just kind of makes me sad because it's like kind of harder to get like a good like following if it isn't like like the YouTube short stuff that you always see. It's just like
yeah.
kind of annoying if you're not already big. It's kind of hard to
Shorts is
like
not
get
good for somebody
into.
that's trying to grow. It's for people that already have grown, honestly.
Yeah,
Someone
that
as
I
someone
I
that's
agree.
tried it, like, yeah, it just doesn't. Nah, I don't think it's
Yeah.
worth it.
But
I don't know, like
shorts are working out well for like Summoning Salt. Summoning Salt's been doing shorts,
Well,
and
yeah, if
he's
you're already
oh yeah, yeah.
established,
that's
yeah,
true.
for
He
sure.
already had like 2 million subscribers when he started doing it, but
Hmm.
you're definitely right there. I think TikTok works well though. I mean, whether or not it gets banned in a few months is up for debate.
Yeah,
But
I actually like about a year ago, I kind of did an experiment where I was making like shorts slash TikToks for a bit, and I was uploading them both on my main channel and my TikTok. Like I made a TikTok account, and my TikTok actually like blew up more than my YouTube Shorts did, which I was really surprised. Like my most viewed TikTok got like 350K views, where YouTube Shorts was like 40K, and I was
That's
wow,
honestly
crazy.
really surprised.
350K. That's
Yeah, it
Pretty
was
crazy.
on
good.
like it was like some Mario Kart Wii thing. I forget. I just did like little like random like speedrun tidbits, and they like kind of picked up. I have a few that have at least like 50K on TikTok. I was really shocked.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
the meta back in like 2021, 2022 was kind of build up a fan base on TikTok and then
Mhm.
redirect them to your other thing so that you can actually do what you want.
Yeah,
Right. That
I,
that was a good play,
I think
honestly.
I feel like it
that's
doesn't really work anymore though.
no, that's slowed
Yeah.
down since then. But I don't really think there is a meta right now. I think meta right now is just kind of do your own thing.
I think you
A
kind of
lot of
just need to focus on what you want to do instead of
I
trying to do
used to
other things to, funnel it into something else.
Right.
I used to think like the meta was like kind of something silly because you put your all into like videos a lot of the time. Like you'll edit a lot of videos and you'll actually like do well with it. But then there's that one post that you make, that one post, and it's like really silly, and you're aware that it's silly. It's like, whatever, I'm just trying to be funny. And then that one pops off,
Yeah.
and it's like, so like, how is this the one out of
Yeah.
every single
Oh
thing that I've
yeah.
done?
My
The
most
one that pops
popular
off?
video by far, I was like, no, like I literally that felt like a really rushed video to me, and now it has
Mhm.
over 1 million views. I don't know how. It just I don't know. It just
Yeah.
happens.
It's so
My
weird.
yeah, you're talking about this last podcast too, Needle.
Yeah.
But what is it? Oh, it's how. Sorry, I laugh every time I think about your most popular video. Isn't it How to Unlock Luigi?
Oh, I hate you for even mentioning it. But yeah. So it was something silly. So like I think because so back in 2020, I think it was around May or something like that. Uh there was like a whole thing where the source code of 64 was leaked.
Oh
And in
yeah.
within the files they found like parts of like Luigi, like he was actually in
Yeah,
the game's
Ella's real.
files.
Yeah.
And I made like a little video just to like, make fun of that concept because like
Yeah.
for years like there were videos out like that and it was like it would and we would us as little kids we would fall for that sort of stuff. So I
Yeah.
figured screw it. I'm going to do it just for the fun of it. And that video has like 4 million views and I'm like,
Jesus.
Yeah.
yeah. And then I made a second one because people were like asking for it. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll play along. That video has like I think it has like 500,000 views or even like or more than a
Oh my
million. I can't
gosh.
remember. But it's just like,
Yeah.
why? Like
Yeah,
what?
it's so it's like almost scary feeling when you have a video
Really?
that's popped off and it's your most popular video and you want to delete it because it's just a stupid video. You don't care about it at all. But it's also like most of your views.
Not even
And
that. Like it made you in a way. Like it
yeah,
made your channel and made you like like I as much as I don't like it. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I made the video and, I posted it. I didn't expect it to get traction, but it did. And honestly, in a way, I'm kind of glad because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't know me as much if it wasn't for that. Like, I guess
bombs
I'll
wouldn't know you.
go into this like a little bit more with like meetings. Like, for example, I met Bombs through my YouTube channel, one of our friends,
Hmm.
and he had commented on a post where I had rebuilt Womp's Fortress from 64 in Minecraft, and he commented on it, and that's how I met him. I met him in like Bazaar server like later that day,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I feel like had my channel not been known, he wouldn't have seen me because the algorithm would have done me dirty, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. It's weird. I have weird reservations about that video, but I mean, it
Yeah,
made me,
there's
so
some good
yeah,
memories.
yeah. I can't be too
My
upset about it, you know.
my most popular video doesn't even have a story behind it, really. I was 11. Not even old enough to be posting on YouTube. But I made a Megalovania note block tutorial,
Ooh.
and my my channel doesn't have that many views. I think less than 100,000, but that's like 3/4 of it, and I hate it because my voice is super high and squeaky. If someone goes to my most popular
Oh
videos, they'll see that when I was
Yeah.
11.
man,
Yeah, I'm
talk
so
about
glad I
the
made a fresh
embarrassing
start for
moment.
myself, like kind of like 4 years ago. I'm really glad that
Yeah,
my current image has nothing to do with who I was like 5 years ago.
I'm
Real.
hoping the JLB channel takes off more than my channel. Maybe they'll know my voice instead of
Yeah,
my child
Yeah.
voice.
that's kind of
Yeah.
like how it. It's kind of like how it is for my. So I have like another channel that like I I made sure like it's just gone. Like I like I'm not subscribed to it or nothing. But it was my first YouTube channel like ever, and like I even made the name like super obscure because I didn't want anyone to find it because like it is so cringe. Like I think I
Yeah.
made that channel when I was like 10 or 11. It was so bad. I'm now 22 by the way, so like it's kind
Yeah,
of
I went
like
through the same path. Don't worry.
Oh my god.
it's like, oh no, I don't want people to see this. It is
Yeah.
not a good idea.
Y-
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I have some because like the channel I have now, I've had since like I want to say the end of middle school, beginning of high school, and like I do have some videos where I'm like 14 in them, but that's not nearly as bad as like the original like channel I had. I'm kind of glad that that one's just kind of like gone.
You
Yeah.
always
Just for
evolve.
me.
Yeah.
You guys had the foresight to see that you wouldn't want your child videos on your main channel. I
Oh, the
didn't.
second that my speedrun stuff started blowing up, I like instantly privated like any like more
Yeah.
random stuff that was made before that. I'm like, I
So
don't need
Yeah.
people seeing this. I definitely said
If
some questionable stuff in those. I'm like, nobody needs to see
that's
those.
yeah.
so
That's just for
real,
me.
yeah.
Who knows at this point what we could have said back then that's like offensive now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because like the
Even
thing with
even us being like progressive and we were then, it was more okay to say stuff back then, and it's
People grow
not
up, they learn.
now.
I mean, we're
That's
all
because
pretty
true.
like
young, so like we were
And
all stupid
yeah, we
children,
were
and I still think
all
I am.
and that's the thing
we were all
that like
10 to 13.
and like with some people with and I'm like I said, I'm not excusing people to say like questionable things, but at the end of the day, like a lot of the times that people get exposed for stuff and like canceled and all that stuff, they were like children. Like they were stupid. They didn't know any better. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
Like
those kind of things are really stupid.
I
it's like
yeah,
come on.
I think it's really, really like, I don't want to say dumb, but yeah, kind of. I think it's really dumb that if they said something on Twitter 15 years ago, they shouldn't be like they should be held accountable for what they said. It was stupid to say something that was offensive ultimately, but
Yeah.
also it was 15 years ago and they've grown since then.
Yeah, like
So
clearly they're a different person. Like
like
there's
if
no
they
way.
apologize, you can't then be like, well, you haven't changed since then because it's been so long. That's a
Right.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's
I don't
reference.
know. It's I don't know. To like a lot of stuff happening today, it's very it's like a minefield almost. It's like you don't want to say the wrong thing. Like and the worst part, sometimes you don't even know what the wrong thing is.
That's true.
Sometimes it's like you could say, "Oh, I love this," and it's like, "Oh, so you're saying you hate this? Canceled." You know, like and like
Yeah.
I kind of hate that sometimes. Like with some things, it's understandable, but with sometimes it's like with simple like stuff, and it's like okay. I
Yeah,
mean,
I've had to go through a lot of that recently
yeah.
with because I was part of the Minecraft YouTube community up until very recently.
Oh no.
It was so I didn't realize just how much it was taking a toll on me, realizing that like all these people in here, I was I feel like in my mind that I knew them, but I didn't at all.
Yeah, that's the
And
word.
like you know who Wilbur Soot is?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I'm guessing you heard about what he did.
He recently got exposed for a lot of very
Yeah,
bad things.
yeah.
Yeah.
We won't go into that. But I was a huge fan of his band, Lovejoy, and I still
Oh
am to an
yeah.
extent. I still love the songs to death, but I can't listen to them because I hate hearing his voice now. Um, it just breaks my heart so much that people could be so cruel, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
it's
don't
like
understand.
ooh, I never will understand that sort of stuff when like and it's crazy how much of a pattern it has been
Yeah.
because it's like people will and I don't want to say specifically Minecraft YouTubers because it's you some like a lot of times it's outside the realm of Minecraft as well. It's not just Minecraft. I don't want to
It's
single
creators in general,
that out.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of creators that they gain such a big following and like they're very big on their platforms. Everyone loves them, and then they come out with some sort of allegation against them, and it's like, seriously, dude, like you had such a, you had so much good things going for you, and now you just lost all of it because you made this decision, and it's like, why?
I,
Like,
gu- I guess I don't really
you
get
know,
it because these these people, they were playing someone online who they were not. They were acting really nice when they weren't in real life. I've
mhm,
never
Yeah.
been anyone online except for myself, my true
yeah,
self.
same.
So I don't really understand why
I want
they
to say
do that.
I want to say I'm probably less like crazy in person because you don't a lot of the stuff that we do in our VCs and stuff and say we're all silly.
Yeah.
Sometimes like doing that in public probably not that great. You don't want that.
Well,
Not
it's
to say that we
online.
do like
We
illegal stuff. We don't, but there's a
Mhm.
lot of things that it's like maybe you shouldn't do that in public. There's certain things, but 9 times out of 10, I'm myself.
Yeah.
Whether it's in Discord or playing a game with someone or just in public, I'm just myself because it's like I don't know, like, and it's just like these people, like they just they know the impact they have on people, when they create these they create great videos, they make great content, whether it's gaming like Minecraft or Mario, or
Yeah.
it's IRL stuff like Mr. Beast. And it's like, the impact you have on people, yet you still chose to make these decisions. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
it's it's
Yeah.
awful to see, especially with people you grew up with. That's the worst one. That's one that
Yeah.
hurts the most, is with
I,
people you grew up with,
I
watching.
Yeah, I obviously won't say a specific name, but that happened with somebody that I've known for years that
Yeah,
eventually, yeah, it really, I don't get it.
yeah.
yeah.
I
It's
can
it's very sad.
understand like once you have an influence and a community, I can understand then changing
Hmm.
for the better. Like if you realize you're a bad person, once you have influence, you're then gonna kind of reflect, or
Rectify that.
people will
Yeah.
reflect off of you
Hmm.
to then also be more like you because parasocial is just what would the word be? Parasocialness is just a common thing in today's world for some reason.
Yeah.
But to then just act like everything's fine when it's not, that's just shitty.
Yeah, I just like shrug it off, like, oh, what did I do wrong? Instead of like
Yeah,
trying to. I don't know. It's very awful, and it's like
I've had a few
it makes me
friends who've
glad
done
because
that.
like when I saw that, Matt Pat, once he stopped doing like stuff with Game Theory, like once he,
Yeah.
Yeah.
threw in the towel and he transferred the channels over, I was like, I held my breath for a second because I'm like, I am hoping that this man has nothing against him because
Yeah.
that is the one guy that I have looked up to. Like
Hmm.
his theories, man. Like I loved all of them. They were always great to watch. Like he put so much effort and stuff into his channel, and like you can tell that he was a great person even outside of his YouTube persona. So it's like let's hope, man. There's some creators that are still out there that they're still in the clear. I'm hoping that it stays that way
Yeah.
because I don't want that. Every YouTuber that's been great and successful, they come out with something that, and it's just like, come on, man. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah. There's definitely a
just
few creators where if something like really serious happened, I'd be devastated. Like going
yeah,
back to Angry Video
Yeah.
Game Nerd, if something really serious came out of James Rolfe, I would honestly be like in shambles.
yeah, I
There's a
would
few
too.
creators
Like,
like that with me. Notably right now, I've been really into Ted Nivison.
Mm.
I think I've heard
Um,
of him before.
I'd be broken up if something happened with him. He actually
Yeah.
directed a
Yeah,
few of the Lovejoy music videos, but I think he's like just kind of thrown that away from his
Yeah.
portfolio. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a few creators like that. Like I mean, like with Pro Jared in 2019, like I mentioned, he was in allegations, and that broke me. That was the start of
yeah.
it.
That was really
He
awful
was
because
like the
I like
first
watching it.
serious allegation.
Yeah.
That and I'm just so surprised about that because it felt like it's been going on longer than that,
Hmm.
Yeah.
but it hasn't. I'm sorry, what were we talking about before I started rambling?
Uh, Good
uh
question. I don't know.
I remember I wanted to get into like the like how collectibles in like 3D Mario was. So I remember we were
oh,
uh I don't know. I kind of like collectibles with 3D Mario or something else. Like I think I was trying to segue into that because I was talking about Sunshine's blue coins.
hmm
Uh Pretty much like so the one problem I had with because I was doing 120.
hmm
I think the one problem is there's no real indication of where things are. I feel like
that's an issue
And
with
I
most
feel like this
Mario
might be a
games.
problem with a lot of collectibles in 3D games, like 3D Mario. There's not really a good indication for stuff. Like I think blue coins is at the worst because like a lot of people are always like, oh, they're not that bad if you know it, but it's like, yeah, that's if you know it. What about if I'm going into it? I'm just starting out. Like, for example,
Yeah,
like our friend Zeta likes to talk about this all the time, but she's always like, who you can't tell me that anyone did this back in 2002 when the game first came out. You cannot tell me
yeah,
that someone just they just went into it and was like, "Yep, I know where all 240 blue coins are." Like it's like how did they think that we would find this out? Because
I
like
guess
they're
like
like
back then they were more using like those like big ass like Prima guides they used to make.
oh
I know
oh
yeah,
it's
they
yeah,
different
would
that's
nowadays,
true.
but
the gamer guides. Oh my god, that brought back a memory.
I kind of miss those honestly.
They still make them for some games. I know they made one for Odyssey when it came out.
I think the
Um,
last one I got was I had a few of them. The last one I got is I remember I got New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS on launch, and for some reason
Oh
like I
my
decided to get one
god,
with it.
New Super Mario
I
Bros.
remember that.
2? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
why. That's a
yeah.
weird game to get it for, but I just did for some reason.
That's my favorite New
It's
Super game.
it's like I don't know. It's weird because it's like they didn't expect because okay, like some of the coins are fine, but there are like the select few where it's like, how would anyone figure this out? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serena Beach has one that angers me, which is the one it's in the hotel, and you have to spray a specific shelf in one of the
Mm.
rooms, and it'll pop out a blue coin. Now, you're really gonna sit here and tell me that you would know that to spray a bookshelf for a blue coin. I
Is it
would
is it
not know
like
to do that.
is it like hinted on a sign or something, or is it just
No,
You just have
that's
to
the
like
thing.
go
None
for
of the
it.
blue coins are hinted anywhere.
so you just
Like
have to
you know, like
try?
Odyssey has like like Odyssey has like the hint toad for moons, and like
Yeah,
even like the for the screenshot moons, it shows you a screenshot of an area for for
Yeah,
the
it's
moons
hint
pretty
and
the,
all
easy
the
that
hint
to.
shit.
art. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty nice. Sunshine doesn't have that. Shoot, I don't
that
even know
would
if
be.
Sunshine mentions blue coins outside of the I like calling him Tom Nook. Outside of the Tom Nook in like area next to Rico Harbor's entrance, the little hut.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But like they don't really mention the blue coins very much. They just kind of exist, and like if you don't know to talk to that raccoon, you don't know that you need them to get every shine in the game. Because you like there's 96 shines and sunshines without the and sunshine without the blue coins.
Did I?
It's so ridiculous.
Oh, did I cut off?
Like
I think
I don't know.
Discord's kind of had a stroke for a second.
Yeah, this
Uh-oh.
was being weird.
Oh God. All right, sorry. Can you repeat that last sentence real quick?
I was saying that like Sunshine has 96 shines without blue coins, and 24 of them are locked behind blue coins, and it's 10 for a shine, and it's like it's great, but
Until I
it
saw,
also like
um,
I don't know, it's kind of weird.
until I saw my
Not
first
really.
120 run of Sunshine, I didn't know the blue coins actually did anything. I mean,
Yeah,
at first I saw them, I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is like red coins, but for Sunshine. But then I saw there were red coins, so
yeah.
I was really confused. I didn't
It's
realize
like
they actually did anything. I thought they were just an extra
it's like
collectible.
it's like they saw the inspiration of the blue coins from 64, and they were only meant for just getting 5 extra coins in a level. It wasn't really like anything special. It was just to help you get 100 coins faster.
Yeah,
The thing with Sunshine is they got completely repurposed. They used this. The funny thing, They used the same design as they did in 64. In fact, that's the only coin that uses the same design from 64. Sunshine's red coins uses like a sun like design,
weird.
and their yellow coins are just the modern design of coins, the ones they would later use in like Galaxy and 3D World. But
Yeah,
like blue coins are the same from 64 design wise, and like, but they serve a completely different purpose. They don't even give you like that's the thing. They don't even give you coins. They're their own currency, kind of like how the purple coins are in Odyssey.
right.
Like it's they don't add to your coin counter like 64s did. The red coins
That would
don't
be
do
cool.
that either. They don't do that at all. I think all the most they do is they do give you health. I think red coins give you 2 health and blue coins give you 3 in Sunshine.
Mm,
But they don't add to your coin counter if you're going for 100 coins. You need 100 yellow coins in Sunshine to get a shine.
yeah.
And like the thing about that is I don't like 100 coin shines in Sunshine, and only because like the problem that I have is that okay, so in 64 you grab 100 coin star, right?
Hmm.
You don't get booted out of the level. You keep going. You can grab another star. In Sunshine, you get booted out of the level.
Weird.
So it makes it like kind of tedious in that way.
That's
So that's
so
more
weird.
times you re-enter the stage. And Sunshine has like up to 11 shines per stage.
Ugh,
That's the worst
dude.
part. 8 episodes, 2 secret shines, and a 100 coin shine. That's usually like the format for Sunshine stages. So that's 11 per stage. That's a lot.
Yeah.
When you like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's quite a bit. And
I think Sunshine is like weirdly outcast from 3D
oh yeah,
Mario. People
I
talk
think
about Odyssey, people talk about Galaxy, Galaxy 2, and 64. I don't really see a lot of hubba online about Sunshine.
Sunshine. Other than the fact that everyone thinks it sucks when it's really not that bad of a
I
game.
don't I
Like
don't think it's a
I've
bad
come to,
game.
I've come to appreciate it a lot more over time. Like I played it a lot when I was younger. I own a copy of it, like myself, and I still have the GameCube. I used to play it when I was younger, and like, but like I see people like, and I could see why people didn't like the game, but like a lot of people, especially on Twitter, you see a lot of slander on Sunshine, and it's
Yeah.
like I used to not like it as much, but I really grown to appreciate the game a lot more over time. I think it's a great game, and I like its concept. I like the stuff that it's very ambitious. I want
Yeah.
to say, like, it's very different from the other games. Like,
Yeah.
it's very out there, and it's like
I have
it's
I have
also
a I have a small theory where I think I think the only reason people really talk about Galaxy and 64 a lot is because, well, 64 is 64, but also it was re-released on the DS, which is like the best-selling handheld of all time, if not the best-selling
Right,
console of all time. I think it's the
right.
best-selling console of all time.
I think it might be.
Right,
I'm not
or no,
sure.
it might not be. I think the PS2 is just above it. Anyway, anyhow,
Mhm.
and then the Galaxy was on the Wii, which is also one of the best-selling consoles of all time.
Yeah, Wii was pretty
But the
baller.
GameCube
So.
was a flop in its time.
Which is unfortunate because the
Unfortunate.
GameCube
A
had
lot of potential.
so many good games on it.
Really
Like,
good.
don't get me wrong, a lot of games weren't finished, like they were very rushed, but like that's the crazy part. The games that were like the most rushed, like Sunshine, Mario Kart Double Dash, Melee, those are games that are like the most popular, it seems. Like a lot of people like those games more. I like it's weird. Like
I would say they should remaster and keep remaking their older games, but I feel like we're in kind of a drought of new Nintendo games right now.
It's
oh
been like
yeah,
remake.
especially this
Mario,
Like,
year.
well,
This
Princess Peach
year we got
Showtime I
Mario
heard was really good, but
uh
um,
like this even this year, like there are a lot of games that I am very glad that they brought back from the dead, basically. Like Super Mario RPG. Super Mario
oh yeah,
RPG
for sure.
outside of Virtual Console hasn't gotten anything for it.
I think they
Like,
should do more of
you know what
that,
I'm
of
saying?
like series that have been kind of like just ignored, or specific
Dormant.
games that have been ignored for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
think they
like
should do
it's like
more.
We got Mario versus DK,
Yeah,
and then we got now we have TTYD, which is like, oh my god, this is so much, so many
Yeah.
remakes. I don't
well,
like,
Paper Mario is a series that's been less dormant. They had Origami King not too long ago,
yeah.
but yeah, I see where you're coming from. TTYD is often considered the best Paper Mario game.
Mm.
Um,
I can I can agree with an asterisk. I don't want to like make people angry at me, but
yeah,
like I love the new idea. I think it's a great game, but it obviously it's not my favorite. And my
yeah,
favorite game, a lot of people would definitely question me on, but
yeah.
uh that being Super Paper Mario. But
I really
I
just
don't know,
think
like
that I think we
I
just no more remakes. No, if I was the president of
yeah.
Nintendo, I would be like, no more remakes.
I
Stop.
think what turns me
Every
off from
team.
like really loving T2ID and having it be my favorite game is I like to call it melee syndrome, where uh games are like they're really good games, and then when successors or like sequels of that game come out, people complain and call it bad because it isn't that game. Like how Brawl would be. Like Brawl came out and
Mm,
everyone hated it at first because it wasn't melee.
that's true.
And like, you know what I'm saying? SPM came out and people hated it because it wasn't TTYD. And the same
Mm.
thing goes for the future Paper Mario's going after SPM. Sticker Star, Color Splash. Like people hated those games because it wasn't TTYD. And that's what kind of turns me off from stuff like that, because it's like it doesn't have to be an exact replica of a game for it to be good, you
Yeah.
know? Like there are a lot of good moments in other games. Like I think SPM is such a goated game for, especially since it just blows the perspective of Paper Mario out of the water. Like you have the first two games, it's turn based. You have your badge system, you have all sorts of cool stuff, turn based mechanics. And then
Yeah.
SPM was like, so like what if we took that and just said screw it, let's get rid of the like turn based element and just made it a platformer. And don't get me wrong, it's very rough around the edges. I will say that, but I think
Yeah.
for a concept like that, I'm kind of surprised they never revisited it. I kind of liked it a lot. I thought it was very fun to combine an RPG element and make it a platformer. I thought that was great,
Yeah.
especially since it was on the Wii. The Wii remote didn't have that many buttons to make an RPG with, so
Yeah.
you
We're
know,
just in a very nostalgic point in gaming, I
in
think.
gaming, yeah.
I don't know.
I also
I
agree.
really don't understand why so many remakes are. I'm glad
It's
about some of them. I really enjoyed Mario RPG. It was my favorite game of the year
I
yeah.
last
feel like
year.
every
Oh, it
like
was
15 to
amazing.
20 years, there's just gonna be like a new wave of that. Where like in the 2000s, there was the beginning of the peak of like remaking like NES stuff, like
That's true.
Right.
and now
Now
it's
it's gonna
just
be the
kind of
Wii
now we're doing
era.
it with GameCube slash Wii era kind of stuff.
That's
It's
crazy.
like
Yeah.
it's like weird too, like to consider stuff like this retro. Like, um, example, the Wii is considered retro. Like the
I would
DS
not
is
consider it
considered
retro
retro.
yet, but yeah,
I
the
don't
second it's
either. It's
undebatably retro is the
crazy.
day I will die.
How about
It's
how
crazy.
about this,
Like
Patty? The
like
Wii.
Sunshine.
Sorry to cut you off, Needle. Um,
It's alright. Go ahead.
the Wii is as old as the NES was when the angry video game nerds started making videos.
That is so crazy to me.
It's
Older
insane,
than the
like,
NES was, sorry.
Like the Wii is like my console. It's like my number one Nintendo console. I have over
You're
300 Wii
totally-
games. I have a huge Wii
Oh
collection.
yeah, I forgot you were
Awesome.
doing
I have
that.
like
That's so cool.
330 something, 40 something Wii, like
I forgot I
a ton of Wii
contributed to that.
games. Yeah. That's just like my baby. My second probably like my SNES, but the Wii is like my biggest connection because that's like the first Nintendo console I got. I just have such a connection to it. I mainly
Yes,
played like Mario
cool,
Kart Wii and
though.
stuff, and over the years,
Oh,
as I've gotten
yeah.
older and I have more money, I've like, been exploring so many other games that I wasn't able to afford back then.
Do they still do
It's like-
Just Dance games for the Wii?
They
think
stopped
they
that in
stopped.
2020.
I thought
Yeah,
so.
I think they
Okay.
stopped.
Do you have all of them?
I only have a few of the just. I don't have most of them. I have like the first like 3 or 4. There's like at least 5 or 6 more. I'm pretty sure. I don't have.
Yeah, I think they stopped titling them with like the sequel numbers after 4, I think.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
they just
1,
went the
2,
year.
3,
Just
4,
called it the year.
and then
20,
there's
14,
years.
15, 16.
There's like a
The
few other
year-
random
they
ones
did
too.
year
There's
two.
like some pop hits one, and there's like like Just Dance Kids 1 and 2. There's like random weird
Dude, I love
ones in
Just
there.
Dance
Oh,
Kids
yeah,
1. It's got
five
Gummy
years,
Bear on
I only
Yeah,
have
it's
Just
like-
Dance Kids 2.
it.
To think about.
I hate Just Dance Kids so much just because of the thought that they had to get these children in a room and force them to dance for probably hours on end.
That's really
Yeah,
weird.
that's awful.
And
'Cause
for
they
what?
They would use like
Who's buying
like
it?
motion capture.
Whoever's buying it probably saw that, and I was like, and they said, "No, I'm not gonna get this. I'll just get Just Dance at this point. Why would I want to see a bunch of children
It's
dancing
like Dan
on my
Schneider
screen?"
type beat.
Honestly, that's
Oh
what I'm
God,
saying.
no, not that. Oh,
I just
geez.
convinced my dad today to watch Quiet on Set. But that's a good one, Dan Schneider. But yeah, it just makes no sense. I don't know why, when, who would buy any Just Dance Kids game, but it is lost media now, kind of.
That's crazy. Like thinking about all these Wii games, like Super Mario Galaxy is
Or would be lost
Like,
media, I guess.
17 years old now.
That's
Like,
so crazy
Oh
to
my
me.
god.
or it will
what?
be soon. Super Paper Mario, it's same 17 years old.
Like, I remember
Galaxy
playing all of
2,
these when they
like,
were very new. It's just weird to even call them
Yeah.
like slightly old.
Like, Galaxy 1 came out when I was 5. Like like I said, I'm 22. Like that's crazy to think about how
Hold on,
long
I
it's
gotta
been.
look up something real quick.
Like,
Like
when did Galaxy come out?
When did
Galaxy
the
1 came out in
DS
2007.
release?
Jeez, yeah.
I-
would've turned
Yeah.
6 that year. Jeez, yeah.
I am younger
was
than
5.
the DS.
Yeah, I was 5 turning 6 that year. Yeah, I'm 22 as well. Jeez.
I'm
Oh
18.
my God. It's crazy to think about. Like
Oh, that's
like
so
even with
weird.
DS games, like Super Mario 64 DS, that came out
Yeah.
like when I was 2.
Yeah, that was like a launch title,
2004.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
like,
I'm younger than Mario
it's been
64
20
DS.
years. It's been 20 years since that
Yeah.
game came out. It's insane
Do you
to
think?
think about. It's like, yeah, like, oh my God.
Do you
And
guys
Mario's
think
still
that-
kicking to this day.
Sorry, what would you say? What'd you say?
No, I was saying, like, I was just thinking about like Mario since like what 1991, with Donkey Kong, like
Oh,
Mario's
right,
been
okay.
kicking like crazy. It's been so long, and Mario's still going. Like
That is kind of
that's
crazy.
insane.
Most movie series
Like-
don't even last this long,
Like Mario's been kicking like
except
strong.
for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot like is great, but he had 3 games for a while, like in the main series. Then he got a 4th one in like what 2019, and then he hasn't got another game. Same with Mega Man. Mega Man like had 10 games. It was, and then the X series and the Battle Network, and then everything stopped, and 11 came out, and then it just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
Like and it's
Mario's
crazy,
just like the one
Mario's still
juggernaut that
going.
hasn't. Yeah.
Well, that's because
Yeah.
Mario
Like-
also. He's not
I wanna
just
say
the
even-
games, like he's not.
Yeah.
Oh
just
yeah, there's so many
Odyssey
like spin-off
Galaxy.
franchises.
There's
Yeah.
I wanna say
Mario Kart is the
even-
best-selling game on Switch.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and like I said, that's just a port of the game that came out on Wii U, and it came out in 2017, and people were still buying it.
It was
It's
so
insane.
the start of the Switch's launch was so annoying. It was all just games
It
getting
was.
ported from the Wii U.
Yeah, it did kind of.
It's like now with remakes.
I think Odyssey was what I think because I had gotten a Switch before Odyssey came out. I got it when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out. Uh,
Mm.
and once Odyssey and Sonic Mania came out, I was like, okay, this is becoming more and more worth my money.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like it's like even not even just Mario. Like and I know people are gonna be like, oh, what do you mean? Sonic is another one. Sonic is still going strong.
Sonic has
Like
lasted a while,
he's
maybe
lasted a
too long.
very long time, and it's funny you say that because it's like Sonic was great. You know, when he first came out, like his games are great. Then you have the people that are like, Sonic got a rough transition in the 3D. That song and dance. But
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
when the 2000s came in like the mid 2000s, everyone was like, this franchise sucks, you know? And
I
like
mean,
I think Sega made a genius move, like Sonic Team. It's like they used the fact that people didn't like Sonic and they kind of used that as like a way to push him even further. Like they kind of made something out of themselves for making fun of Sonic with the people who didn't like Sonic, and I thought that was a crazy tactic to do, but it
that's
worked. And
that's
like
true.
Sonic's still going, and
I
it's
think
insane. You know, he's got TV shows, he's got a bunch of cameos everywhere.
Yeah.
Shoot, he had a cameo before he became a video game character, which is insane to me to think about.
he's a movie.
Like, yeah, he's got 3 movies. He's got a third one coming out this year, and Knuckles as a side TV show.
I'm
It's
super
awesome.
excited for Knuckles. That looks so cool.
Yeah, like
As
Yeah.
someone
Like-
who is a self-proclaimed hater of Sonic, I'm super excited for Knuckles.
this guy, man, with the Sonic hate, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I like some Sonic. Honestly, I'll be 100% honest. Most of the Sonic games I enjoy. I enjoy most of the Sonic games. That includes like Black Knight and Secret Ring. So don't take everything I say with a grain of salt now. But
I still need to
Fuck,
play
bro.
those games. I don't even know if I want to.
do you have
Bro
them?
used to clown on
Yes.
Sonic.
Oh my god.
constant.
Do
Yeah, I
not-
have all
okay.
those games.
So I like Secret Rings just because of how bullshit it is, but I would not recommend anyone play it. It is it's
So-
like motion controls are so bad.
Yeah, some motion controls with Sonic was not a good idea, but I'm kind of salty with Secret Rings, and Joker has an idea as to why, and Zeta will definitely have a reason why when she watches this. But so pretty much in 2006, we already know Sonic 06, one of the worst Sonic games ever, and people mindlessly trash on it. But what some people don't know is the reason why it's so bad, and it's because of Secret Rings. So
Mhm.
pretty much they were making 06, and 06 was supposed to be the reboot for the franchise to become the modern era that we know now. So the issue with that was the game was good, and when you play the game or you see footage of the game, you can see how ambitious the developers wanted to be, and you could see that people cared about the game. They wanted it to be the 3D Sonic experience. But obviously we all know that didn't turn out that way. And it was because the game was, and obviously the game was rushed, but it was rushed for a Christmas release so that Secret Rings could be made. They basically cut 06's team in half to work on Secret Rings, which is why
Wow.
06 is as bad as it is.
And that's
it
why
makes
Secret
me
Rings
upset.
also is bad.
Yeah,
because of
and it
that
makes
half
me
a
upset
team.
because, yeah, and it makes me sad because it's like 06 could have been a really good game had they not done what they did. They should have just. I feel like they could have just waited on Secret Rings, but they
Yeah.
wanted a Sonic game on Wii so badly. It's just like, come on,
Is
I don't
06
know,
on Wii?
No, 06 is on Xbox
No.
360,
Okay.
and it's only on Xbox 360. I mean, you can get it on.
Really?
I don't know if you can get it on Xbox One. I don't
Can you get it
remember
on?
if you can,
Is
but
it not even on like PS3?
it is on PS3. Yeah, it's
Oh,
Xbox
okay. So it's
360 and
that
PS3.
it's that like generation.
Yeah, that generation of stuff, but they don't have like an Xbox One version or anything. It's those games.
Here is my.
But everyone's nodding towards PO6, which is the the PC port that has a bunch of mods.
Here is my
Yeah.
main gripe with Sonic. And this you're about to hear straight facts. And don't take this with a grain of salt because I am spitting.
Spitting.
Okay.
So, my main gripe with Sonic right now is that Sonic Team cannot let go of linear levels. because I I'm a little salty. I was extremely excited for Frontiers because I really liked Odyssey. Odyssey was open world
Right.
to an extent, granted.
Breath of the Wild.
But
Same thing.
yeah, Breath of the Wild, open world, Tears of the Kingdom. Hadn't played that yet. It wasn't out, but I was excited. I played Frontiers. I realized it was a hub world that was open world, and the levels were still just the same shit I had in Generations. And
Hmm.
even before that, I think it started back in, honestly, probably started in '06.
Actually, it started in Adventure 2.
That's true. It did start in Adventure 2. I don't feel like they're progressing at all. And if they don't progress more, Sonic might not be, you know, I feel like it might
Yeah.
die eventually. But I think
Yeah.
the movies are doing well enough to keep going, but I
Yeah.
don't know
I,
about the
I, I
games
agree with
anymore.
you though. Like Adventure 1, I kind of like the formula of Adventure 1. I do like it where it is the hub world and then like the levels and stuff. And you can like, you can explore and get the emblems and stuff. And it was nice. Adventure 2 was a little more linear, but I could understand why because imagine playing Adventure 1 and now you have to play as like 6 different characters plus the secret 7th story to beat the game. That is quite a lot. Uh Adventure 2 kind of cut that in half because, like that's it's 2 stories. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's 6 characters, but they're now split in half into 2 separate stories instead of it being one. Because like the thing is with SA1, as much as I love that game, drags for quite a while because you're playing this game, right? And you're playing it with 6 different perspectives. Sonic's is by far the longest perspective. Uh,
Yeah.
it's about I want to say because I occasionally do all stories speed runs of the game, and Sonic alone takes me an hour, like by himself takes me an hour to complete his story. Every other character's stories are pretty short. Like I said, it's like
Yeah.
Sonic runs through what 10 stages, Tails runs through 5, Knuckles runs through 4, Amy 3. Like it keeps getting shorter,
Amy
and
stages are
the
peak.
game, yeah, and then Heroes was just like screw it. Let's just we'll have you run through the same stages 4 times as along 12 different characters, but it's all linear. I think '06 kind of delegated from that a little bit. I think '06
A
borrowed the
little bit.
adventure formula, which I kind of appreciated, but then it went right back with the storybook games and then Colors and then Generations.
Is that
So it kept
Secret Rings
getting
Black Knight storybook?
yeah.
Okay. Is that the
Uh
only 2 storybook games?
yeah, those are the only
And
two
they were
storybook
both
games.
exclusively Wii. What were they
Yeah.
exclusively Wii?
Well, actually I don't know about Black Knight. I can't remember,
Let me
but
check.
I know they were most known on the Wii for a fact. If they weren't exclusive to the Wii.
Sonic
But
Black
the
Knight.
thing that kills me a lot about Sonic is
Wii.
the the thing that kills me about Sonic is mainly the not the rehashing but the callbacks. Like the callbacks to old levels, especially Green Hill. Now, Green Hill being in Sonic games wasn't really a surprise because the 8-bit games for Sonic always had Green Hill in it. But
16-bit.
after Generations, it seemed to be this sort of trend. Generations it was acceptable because,
Well,
it
yeah.
was meant to
It
be
was
Sonic's
classic
20th
Sonic.
anniversary. Yeah, so it was meant to bring back classic Sonic. So it made sense. You're calling it back. You have Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary. Those were the Genesis representations
Yeah.
for the levels. And it was fine there because, it's 20 years of Sonic. You want people to see, how far we've gone. But then after that, we had Lost World. Lost World was more of a Galaxy clone, so we don't really count that. But after that, we have Forces, which
Hmm.
brings him back, and it was like, okay, doesn't really make much sense. Why is he here? But then you realize he's only here because they tried to tie the stories between Mania and Forces, and it was like, well, Mania's great, but we have another callback to the classics when we already
Yeah.
had one 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even an anniversary title. It was
That
just kind of there.
I think that's where they went wrong. I think Mania could have been a huge turning point for the series because
Mhm.
Mania was super well received. Everyone loved Mania. I love
Mania's
Mania.
good.
But
Mania's very good.
the fact that they didn't immediately rehire the team that finished Mania
To work on
was
other
a
games.
huge mistake because
Yeah,
now they just released Penny's Big Breakaway, which is peak.
yeah, and it's actually made by a lot of the people who made Sonic Mania.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's Christian
like
Whitehead. It's a bunch of other people who worked on Mania.
even the composers, like what's his name? T. Lopes. He developed the music for Sonic Mania, and he went on to make the music for Penny's Big Breakaway, and it's great. I actually want to buy the game. I haven't
It's
bought it
good.
yet, but
It's
I
$30.
want to play it. It looks so
Have
fun.
you tried it,
Like,
Storster?
and oh,
I
have you?
honestly have not dabbled with Sonic that much, so I really
Oh,
can't speak on
really?
the series as a whole. The one Sonic game I did play a lot was I had the 3DS version of Generations when
Oh
I was
no.
younger, and I really enjoyed that. I don't really know how people perceive that game in general, but I enjoyed it considering I was just a dumb little kid on my 3DS. So
On
I
its
don't know.
on its
For real.
own, I think Generations 3DS on its own is a pretty alright game, but
Mhm.
when it's compared to like actual Generations, I think people kind of start to
Super innocent.
start to
Yeah, kind of valid.
I don't
I
know the
kind of
word.
liked it.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
really that much into Sonic, so like I don't really
yeah,
know the whole scope of things, but that's my
Yeah, no
one
problem.
like really positive
but yeah,
Sonic experience.
my
I just wish they
like
treated Sonic the same way they treated Mario, where they tried doing something different every game, but they don't.
Yeah,
well, the thing is, Sonic does do that. Like with a lot of the games pre-generations, or yeah, pre-generations, a lot of the games were very, very intuitive. Like a lot of them had a
That's true.
lot of like different stuff going on. Like I said, Adventure 1 had its 6 different play styles. Adventure 2 had its 3 different play styles. Heroes Heroes was like a lot about linearity and like the different teams. Uh, oh 06. Oh 06 borrowed the Adventure 1 formula, but you could tell it was trying to be something different
Yeah.
with like Sonic being the speed, Shadow being combat, and Silver being all about physics. You could tell that they were being ambitious in the older Sonic games. Like the storybook games, the motion, like, even though the motion stuff wasn't good, it was still like they tried with that stuff. And then after Generations came out, it just seemed like every Sonic game kind of blended together. It was just kind of like kind of the same stuff over and over. Like even with
mm,
Frontier, you had mentioned Frontiers earlier.
Mhm.
Um, the thing with Frontiers is that the levels are all Green Hill, but that's like obviously that blends into the story that they're trying to paint. But the thing is, it's like not only is it Green Hill, but there are different levels from past games disguised as Green Hill. So like one of the levels is Chemical Plant. Uh, one of the levels in Frontiers is it's Chemical Plant from Generations, but it's using Green Hill's like assets, and it's like
Ugh.
so weird. Like
They're still just
I
going back to it.
yeah, and it's like like Chemical Plant's a great stage, but like we've
How
seen
many
it
do
so
we
many
need?
times. We've seen it we've seen it in Generations, we've seen it in Forces, we've seen it in Mania, and now we're
Yeah.
now seeing it in Frontiers as disguised as Green Hill, and it's like we gotta have some different stuff. Like even now, like they're coming out, they just confirmed the remake for Sonic Generations. Why specific? I feel like Generations is such a weird
Sonic
game to
X Shadow
remaster.
Generations.
Yeah, like they have like the Shadow DLC.
Sonic
I couldn't
X
believe that.
Sonic
Yeah, I
X
don't know why they named
Shadow.
it that. I don't know
I
why they named
I was
it.
completely
Dude,
baffled. I thought
the
somebody was
fact
joking to me when they said that to me.
Oh my god.
That's
People
crazy.
probably immediately looked up Sonic X Shadow Generations after that and found fanfiction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh
how
my god.
they're
How
so
did they
like
not
for
have
a
the
company who's
foresight?
hyper aware of a lot of the stuff that the community comes up with. There's no way you're telling me you didn't see that. Come
Maybe
on,
it was intentional.
there's no way.
You don't think it was intentional?
There's actually no way.
I don't know. I think another problem with Sonic is that Sonic's trying really hard to be Mario. Um,
Yeah,
not in like he doesn't have any party games really, but what is Sega All Stars Racing other than Mario Kart? Um, eh,
I kind of wish they stuck with the Sonic R formula because Sonic R was awesome. It was
Sonic R
like
was cool.
I think it was a cool concept. Execution was a bit but the concept of like Sonic running on foot, I thought that was great. And I
Yeah.
wish they like expanded that with the future Sonic racing games.
Yeah,
Like, shoot,
wait.
even Sonic Riders was sick.
If
Like,
Sonic is the fastest thing alive, why is he in a car?
that's a good point. Like,
Even in
I get
Mario
it,
Kart
whatever.
mods, Sonic is on his feet.
Yeah.
I get it. You want to make, diverse things, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like Sonic in a car doesn't. I feel like I don't know. It just doesn't work. Like I said, had they just done the Sonic R formula and had it to where the Sonic characters were on foot and it was like a platforming race type thing like Sonic R did, I think that would have been great. I would have enjoyed the racing games more. Not to say that the racing games are bad, but I do wish that it wasn't like Mario Kart's formula. You
It
know,
really is.
I feel like Mario Kart does that. I feel like Mario Kart does that well enough. I don't see. I don't know. So I feel like Sonic of all franchises, I don't think they should have emulated it in that way. I feel like they should just kept the on foot thing. I
Yeah.
think that would have been better.
I think Nintendo bailed Sega out because I think early 2010s, that was right after '06, and I think and the storybook games, which were all flops. And so Nintendo
Mhm.
signed a deal with them that the next two games for Sonic would be exclusive to the Wii U. And I think that bailed Sega out of like bankruptcy. But
Yeah, because they were about to
the
go through
games
that
ended up
again.
being Lost World and Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric.
Hmm.
And Lost
They
World is
were
a
both
fine
pretty
game.
okay.
Lost World's a fine game. Rise of Lyric,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
my thoughts on Rise of Lyric, but
Yeah. Rise of Lyric is very, very. It's something. Don't get me wrong. I love Sonic Boom and its universe. The games,
yeah.
so much.
Sorry, buddy. I realize we're talking about Sonic a lot when you're not super well versed in it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like sitting here like, okay.
No, sorry. What game series do you like? I know you like Mario. Do you like Zelda?
No, I'm not gonna
What?
lie. I'm not that I've never, no, Zelda's
Really?
not my thing.
That's fair
Really?
though.
I'm really
If
just
it's not,
not that diverse of a person. I feel like I just stick to like what I
Mario.
know. I'm just really, yeah, I'm very like
That's really fair,
Mario
actually.
World, and like if a lot of the years if I'm not playing Mario World, I'm playing a ROM hack, and I don't know. That's just
God.
like my one baby, to be honest. Like the closest thing I've had besides that is I guess I've done a bit of like Mario 1. Those are like my two like
Mhm.
big games. Besides
Super,
that, I don't know.
Super Mario World is crazy with its ROM hacks.
Do you do
I love the hacks for
64 at all?
World.
Not really. I beat it for the first time back in like September because
Oh,
I
dang.
moved in with Taylor, who is a 64 runner, and
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah, she
good.
like basically forced me to play it.
I
I saw you two were doing a 2v1c for Joey's thing.
Oh,
my
I'm not.
favorite
I probably am not going to do that anymore. But yeah,
Aw. I wouldn't say
my
that.
yeah.
favorite I think my favorite like modded communities are with 64 and SMW. Like Super Mario World, like I know a lot of the hacks now are kind of like Kaizos, or most of them are, but like
There's
I do
still a
like,
lot of great non-Kaizo stuff out
yeah.
there.
I think if you really look, like there's some really good stuff in Super Mario
Yeah.
World, and like even in 64, like those two have been like modded the most, and like I don't know, it's been worth you like from the early days of World and 64, where like hacks weren't that great quality wise, but that's only because we had terrible tools. But like you can tell that like with new stuff coming out, you could tell that like tools have evolved, and as
Oh
well as
yeah,
creators, like people's ideas and like
yeah.
execution has just gotten so much better.
I'm
Like,
so
and it's
passionate
so
about the
nice.
ROM hacking community. Not really as much for more like modern Kaizo, but just like the general whole background. I've kind of had like the challenge has been kind of on hiatus for a while because I've had so many things in my life. But I was kind of trying to do a challenge to see like how many like normal rated ROM hacks I could beat, and I think I have over like 300, like closer to 400,
Wow.
something like that. Like
Oh,
I have like a
that's
whole
awesome.
spreadsheet. I basically went to like SMW Central, which is like the, I guess like what do you call it? I guess like the
Like the
hub
main
for,
area.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like the hub for like everything SMW ROM hack like related, and they
Right.
have like a list of verified hacks, and I was like trying to beat like just see how many I can beat that like aren't Kaizo rated.
Yeah.
I think I have like I've beaten it like between like 15 and 20% of them, which is actually a pretty decent amount considering there's well over 1,000 that are just sitting
Yeah,
on
there's
the
a
site.
lot of them. It's
I
insane.
I think that ROM hacking is as big as it is right now for Mario World because I know it's not probably as big as it was when it first like really picked up,
Oh yeah,
but
definitely not.
I mean, I
I
would say it's in its prime right now. It's just mostly
really
Kaizo.
that's true. But I
I
think that's
agree.
kind of because of Mario Maker
Oh yeah, that's literally
Oh
the
yeah.
reason why. Yeah.
because
I
Mario Maker
yeah.
was such a well, I guess it was such a phenomenon that people, they just switched up to actually modding the
Mhm.
game. They Mario Maker is only so like limited, so unlimited in
Yeah.
its
Like
extent.
you can only have so many ideas with because like yeah, there's
Yeah.
4 different game styles, 5 if you count 3D World for Mario Maker 2, but there's only so many things you can do with those game styles before and different themes within the game styles before it starts getting stale because like it's an official game. So obviously
Yeah,
they're not gonna have you do a lot of the stuff that you see in the games that they're representing. Like
Yeah.
and it
I
kind of sucks in that way because it's like I want to be so creative, but there's certain things that I just can't do because this game limits me from it. But
I feel
that's
like,
why I'm so attached to like level creator games and stuff and games
oh
where you
yeah,
just mod it. Like
mhm.
Mario World, great example. Like I love modding Super Mario World. Like I've made some hacks in the past. I've failed
I
to find
definitely want to
them,
make one
but
someday. It's just I would love to do that.
Dude.
Super
I
Mario 64. I'm in the midst of making a game, and it's been a very painful 4 year process. But uh, it's 64. I've been making one, but it's like there's also like those games where like they have level editors built in. So like Super Mario 63 or Mario 127, like those games where you
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
be a little more creative. I love that sort of stuff.
I'm
It's awesome.
I am so terrible at making levels. For some reason, my creativity comes out when I'm writing stuff, but I am just so bad at making levels in Mario Maker. Uh, I don't understand why. I feel like
I feel the same way. Like if I do end up
yeah.
making a ROM hack, there's no way I can like do the level design on my own. I'd need like somebody more competent to like walk me through it.
Like, yeah.
Like a month or two ago, I had this idea of making a Pokemon ROM hack. Um,
Hmm.
and I got like a town and a route in, and then was just like, man, I am out of ideas. I
Yeah,
my
Yeah.
creativity is spent, and
I
I don't know.
disagree.
I just feel like
I'm
it comes out with music and
I think
writing, and that's it.
yeah. I have some pretty cool ideas. Like I have ideas. Sometimes it's like a lot of I often find myself making levels that like exist already, but putting a really cool spin on them. So like and sometimes that ends up being just as creative as making a new idea.
That's kind of
Like
the
mm,
for
YouTube
example,
meta.
for like Mario
yeah,
127, I recreated THI in Mario 127. Tiny Huge Island is a 3D stage in a 3D
Yeah,
game, and I made it in a 2D game. So like having to translate that was pretty hard, but I managed to do it, and I feel like it turned out well.
that's crazy.
And it's like, yeah, it's. I think I have like a video of it on my channel or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I think I don't know, like when it comes to making levels, I can't do it as well in Mario Maker. I don't. I like to like when I was younger and Mario Maker 1 was out. I because my friends also had Mario Maker 1, so like I'd make a level, I would have them play it, and then during the morning I would have in school the next day I'd have to hear how they hated my level because it was too difficult. Because I would be stupid with the level design. And it was just like that's where it kind of stemmed from. Mario Maker 2 was a little better, but
mm,
I just don't feel like I'm good at making levels in that game. And it's only because of how limited I am, you know?
You
A
don't
lot of my
really
yeah, for
ideas are
sure.
very ambitious. Huh?
you look at like the lineup of stuff you have in Mario Maker, and you're thinking, wow, there's like a lot of stuff in this game. I can have a lot of ideas. I feel like as soon as you start actually making, you don't realize just how limited you are in your selection.
Right.
Because while Mario Maker does have a lot of stuff available, is it really everything that's ever been in a 2D Mario game?
Oh no.
No.
Heavens no. I mean
Not
the hammer
even
I mean
close.
Super Mario Bros. 3 is a good example. The hammer suit's missing from that game. The Tanuki suit's missing. Like there's a lot of stuff missing from a lot of the games.
Yeah,
And
and I understand they had to
like
make some cuts, but Mario Maker, they know Nintendo's not stupid. They know how well Mario Maker does. If they kept
yeah.
updating it or making paid DLC, they could have made millions upon millions of dollars. God knows why they didn't.
Yeah, Maker didn't last very long,
It was
especially Maker
weird.
2. God,
It lasted
they killed off Maker 2 so
it
quickly.
lasted like until late 2020, and that was only a year and some change.
Yeah, because that was
It was
that final
The
update
Link
with
costume was pretty cool though.
it was the final update with like the Super Worlds. That was like one of the last
Oh
big updates that
yeah,
we got.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of stopped. Even the Ninja speedruns are gone. Like they
I
don't do
forgot
those
about all that
anymore.
because I feel like that came out like right before they kind of just cut the cord.
Yeah, it kind of was in a way. It was
Yeah, it
just
really
like
was. They
Didn't really get
just
to enjoy it.
yeah, they shafted us.
yeah, I don't know. It does kind of suck. But I think another thing that kind of like makes me like I don't want to say overwhelmed, but like kind of like you know, it's whenever you have these cool ideas and then you go to a new level or whatever, and, you know, you have that like the template. But it's when you hit that erase button and you see nothing. It's just a clean slate. And it's like,
Out of
how do I
ideas.
start this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Nothing.
know, like it's
like I need
so
something.
tough.
You
That's like I
you
think I don't that's not just Mario Maker. That's like my biggest thing with any like designer like level maker thing. I know obviously that's unavoidable. That's gonna happen. Like why would you start a level when there's already stuff in it? But it's
Yeah.
always like you start that clean slate and you're like, now what? Like what do I do?
yeah. I find it
Yeah.
Mario Maker 2 is so like
Okay.
so
I'll be right
different.
back, guys.
Oh, okay, no problem. Um
Mm.
Mario Maker 2 is so different than Mario Maker 1 because I
Yeah.
feel like the Wii U was a very social console. I didn't really find myself playing the Wii U a ton without someone else there, like Nintendo Land, Smash Bros, Mario Maker, because if I wanted to make a level like quickly and then
Mm.
play it, they can just switch the TV to something else. With the Switch, it's just hard. Not only
I'm really
is
sad that the Switch like didn't take some of the best things of the Wii U. They just kind of like dumped it.
I had this line in the script that here I'll read it real quick. The script that
Mm.
I won't reveal on the podcast. You know it, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want to keep
Hmm.
it a secret for now. But it sums up the Wii U pretty well, I think. Let me find it.
Mm.
I've just opened up a bunch of docs today, so I had to.
I miss so many of those, like just like you said, the social aspects. I miss that so much. The Switch feels emotionless in comparison.
It really does. Okay, so I said
Mm.
the Wii U was teeming with untapped potential, like an unexplored goldmine, and had the marketing mirrored the clarity and excitement of the Switch's advertisements, we might have been discussing the Wii U in an entirely different light today, as the prominent successor to the Wii, rather than just a stepping stone to the Switch.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like at the time, I was like, "Oh, this is like the best thing ever,"
Yeah.
and like I realize in retrospect why the Wii U didn't do well, but like,
It,
God, it did a lot of things right that people
yeah.
really don't give it credit for.
Watching these watching these Nintendo Directs over the last 2 weeks, I I thought the Wii U ads were pretty good when I was younger, but
Yeah,
watching these Wii U directs, it just made me realize, like, man, the advertisements really did nothing for the Wii U.
they
I,
really messed up.
they made it the direct that I watched that I quoted that from that was in my script. That was the
Mm.
pre E3 2012, which was going to be focused on Wii U games only because
Yeah.
it was right before the Wii U release. They had a prototype at
Yep.
E3 2011, which had like this weird circle pads from the 3DS, but
Oh God.
but it really did nothing to help the Wii U's case because they kept talking about what the gamepad could do like standalone without the rest of the console. And honestly, for a second I started thinking, wow. So though it's just the gamepad.
Yeah.
I can honestly just see why parents would think, okay, so it's just an overpriced like addition to the Wii.
Yeah, I really think they should have tried to make it more distinct because that's like part of the reason why the Switch did so well because it's just so distinct. Like it's really its own thing. You literally can't tie it to what was made, like anything that
Yeah.
was really made before it.
Yeah, I also said in there it should have been spent realizing the gamepad as the heart of the Wii U rather than realizing its standalone capabilities.
Yeah, for sure.
because it really was the heart of the Wii U. The gamepad was an innovation. It was a brilliant innovation, in my opinion. That's a step in the right direction because phones were so popular. Touchscreen was getting huge, but and it was time for like gaming to go that direction, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And I think it was a great time to as well. But Nintendo fucked up bad by just I don't know.
Yeah.
If they didn't name it the Wii U, it probably would have done better as well. Because
Yeah,
then
I think that was their biggest mistake from day one because they were just pinholing themselves into a corner that they really shouldn't have been.
yeah, uh, I understand why they named it the Wii U because the Wii did so well, but I feel
Yeah.
like it's gonna go the same way if the Switch is called the Switch 2, or the next Switch is called the
Yeah, I'm
Switch 2.
like kind of half worried about that. Like I wonder if Nintendo's going to do a similar thing where they just try to like latch on
What
to their
I
previous success.
what I think's gonna happen is I think they're gonna do like the new 3DS. You remember the new 3DS from like
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
2014,
yeah.
where the new 3DS had better graphical capabilities, so it had some games were exclusive to the new 3DS.
Yeah,
But also you could play every other 3DS game on it. And also 3DS games were still being made. Like OG 3DS games were still being made.
I could see that being a really good approach, honestly, just considering how much of a base the Switch has. Like they can't just dump that.
It's already
I
sold more than the Wii. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I there's the console war still going on for some reason, Series X versus the PS5, but everyone has a Switch.
Yeah, Nintendo isn't trying to compete with
Yeah.
that. They're in their
No.
own lane. They have their own audience.
Yeah, and I mean the Series X and the PS5, they're just like I have a Series X, I love it, but I'm gonna admit it's just like a glorified PC.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing I could do on that that I couldn't do on
Thing.
like a PC, on like a good PC.
That seems to be the case with the non-Nintendo stuff, like the
Yeah,
Nintendo consoles.
but with
Like,
Switch, there's a lot I can do on Switch. They innovate so much just by like I mean, it's weird saying it now because it's been so long that it's happened. But the handheld mode and the docked mode, that's just a brilliant innovation in and of itself.
yeah, I thought that was really cool.
That was
Like,
like
it's like
mind blown when
they
everyone
saw
saw it for the first time.
it's like it's like they saw what the Wii U did with the having the gamepad and the
They should have
TV
done that
mode,
with the
and
Wii
they
U.
were
Why
like,
didn't they?
yeah,
That's true.
it's crazy. It's crazy to
It
think
could have
about.
been.
Like,
Yeah. Oh, if the
man,
Wii U was the console,
I thought that's what
that
it was when I like first got it. I seriously thought it was like what the Switch is now.
yeah.
But I was really disappointed when like you take it into the next room. She's like gamepad disconnected. And I'm like, oh,
oh yeah, the range was so
it's
short
so
on
It
bad.
was like they said it was 20 feet. I was lucky if I got a
They're
connection
like, oh,
within
you can
10
bring it
feet.
wherever when somebody's watching something on TV. Like, no, you can't. You got to be
Nope,
sitting like right there.
pretty much.
Yeah,
They said they said it had a good connection of like 20 feet, maybe 25 if you're lucky. I think I was lucky to get 10 feet away
I was
from
gonna say
it.
mine was maybe half that.
Yeah.
it was probably like worse. It was probably worse if like the walls were like blocking it or anything. Like, it
Oh
Yeah,
was
yeah,
so
for
much
sure.
worse.
But the Switch you can just take anywhere.
Yeah.
Switch
yeah.
fits in my pocket. I know I have huge pockets, but um, but the Switch is just and it's portable. If you get a case, it's just like it's not even as big as a suitcase. It's super
You know
easy.
something? You know what's the saddest thing about the fact that it's like that?
What's that?
There's nothing cool like Street Pass or
Oh, there should
I
be.
I miss Street Pass
Weavers.
so badly.
I
Oh, I
dude,
miss
I
that
want the
so
Me
much.
Plaza back so bad. You
Oh
have
my
no
god.
clue.
Like
They gotta do
the
that in the
excitement
next
I got
Switch.
for
That's
having my
awesome.
3DS in my pocket and then like going home and seeing that green light go on. Oh my god, I was so
Dude.
excited. Especially if you like went to like concerts or like events with like people, like a lot of people.
Yeah, I
Like, could
remember
you
like going to
imagine if
like
like,
PAX East, and oh my god, it was
oh my
crazy.
god,
Have you
could
guys
you?
seen that like hour-long video of a guy walking until he got Street Pass on his 3DS?
I've seen videos
Oh
like that.
my
Yeah,
god, I
It's
missed
so
that.
disappointing.
I missed it so much. Like seeing that green light meant the world. Oh my
They
god.
really should because if they did that, then the Switch would be more like the Wii U. It'd be a more social console. You'd realize you walked
Yeah.
past someone also with a Switch and be like, oh
Yeah.
okay, maybe I'll go talk to them. I don't
It was
know.
like, I don't know. The Wii U was great. Like it was there's a lot of stuff that they did pretty well, like with its own like social system. Now I can see why they shut it down, being there were a lot of crazy stuff on
Yeah.
it, but it was a great idea. Like, shoot, the Wii U is like the only console for some reason where you don't need to look for a friend code.
Yeah.
Why is it that every console does that? The 3DS does it, the Switch does it. Like, why is the Wii
Yeah,
U
why
the
did they
only
go back
console?
to that?
I
Yeah, why
do
did they go
think that
backwards?
I do think that they had somewhat of a good idea with there's a thing you can do on the Switch where if you're near another Switch, you can then
Oh
go into
yeah.
like a
Oh,
thing and then choose the correct
yeah,
shape and then you friend each
yeah,
other.
like local friend thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
also because I think Nintendo realized that we were moving into a more online direction, and so friend codes just kind of made sense. Um, I don't really know how they would do it if not for friend codes, because people would want to obviously friend people who are online
yeah.
who
I don't
aren't
know. It's
close.
just weird because it's like I know Switch has another system though where like it's kind of like how Xbox, PlayStation. I don't know if they do it as well, but like if you're playing online with people and you can like go to like a list and it shows the people you've
Oh
played with and you
yeah.
can friend them that way too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
recently played,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Xbox does that. I think what Nintendo needs to do is instead of friend codes, just search their username.
That's what I
That's
was talking
literally
about.
where
Yeah,
Wii
that's
U did
literally
everywhere
it.
what they
else
had
does.
before and they just got rid of it.
Yeah, Wii
Oh
U
yeah,
did
I
that.
forgot Wii U did
Yeah,
that.
you
Yeah,
just
that's
use
what
the
I was
Nintendo
explaining.
ID. Which is so weird because we still have like Nintendo IDs in general. So like
Yeah, like
why
Yeah.
just like toss
what
that
are they
like
for
we still have the
now?
usernames, why do you toss it out?
Yeah, it's just
I
like I don't understand what they're for now if they're just like kind of
It's
there.
literally
We
just
have
to
our
like
IDs.
sign into your account for a subscription and that's it. Like
what I
It's so
also
weird.
saw in a Nintendo Direct was in the same one I was talking to you about, Patty.
mm,
Remember the Nintendo Network?
yeah.
That was
Nintendo Network. Wow.
Mr. Iwata, rest in peace, said that they wanted it to span across multiple consoles, and it got to the Wii U and the 3DS before it stopped, and it's stopping in like 2 weeks from now.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
The 3DS like
That's
really didn't get that much of that. Like I know
No, it really didn't.
Miiverse did go on the 3DS, but that was like I almost forgot that existed until you like
Mhm.
mentioned that they connected that.
Yeah, the Miiverse actually had a lot of potential. There was a lot of
I loved it.
shit on it, but
Yeah, I loved it though. It was great.
if
It was
it
a great
had
way to
more
like,
moderation, then it would have been
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I feel
It's just
like
unfortunate.
I'm uncertain about Nintendo's future because while I do want a successor to the Switch, I don't want another Wii U,
Yeah,
another Wii U
Yeah.
as
situation.
much as I love the Wii U, I
It's
don't
scary to
think
think that that's
Nintendo would
like
be able to.
I feel like there's a 50% chance that's just kind of happen no matter what because you just naturally get things that are so good that you just can't like make something that lives up to it right away. That just kind of
Yeah, it's
naturally happens
gonna take
sometimes.
time. Yeah,
Because
Like it happens with
Nintendo's
all sorts of things like music, gaming, like everything. There's just something sometimes things are so good that you just like can't follow that up right away. You have to like give it
yeah.
time.
yeah, Nintendo's handhelds always do well. The 3DS did fine. I think it sold like 40
Mhm.
million copies, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's consoles have a very rough history. The NES and the SNES did really well. N64 did a little bit worse. GameCube was considered a flop. Wii did amazingly. Wii U was considered a flop. Switch did amazingly. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's next? Because
Really weird
we're
track
due for a
record.
flop.
Yeah, we're due for a
Yeah.
flop. Maybe we could get two in a row. Maybe we could get two in a
Two in
row.
a row would be
Two
That'd be
crazy.
good ones in a
amazing.
row.
But yeah, I'm just scared that people are gonna think it's an accessory to the Switch rather than a different console because they'd be stupid not to make a successor to the Switch because the Switch is huge. But also, the last time they did that, it only sold 11 million copies.
They really
Right.
just need to like distance themselves and not get too comfortable with basically calling it the same thing, like the Wii and the Wii
Yeah.
U. They really
Apparently,
need to emphasize how much of a new thing it is.
apparently it
Hmm.
might be called like the Switch Attach or something. I don't know. I saw something about that online.
I've seen rumors, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
but I really hope it's not just called the Switch 2. That'd be a terrible name.
No,
Like
yeah.
make it something a little different, man. Make it compatible, backwards compatible to the Switch, yes.
It,
But
it needs to be. If it isn't, there is no way it isn't. There's just I refuse to live in a
I don't see
world
why they would.
where Yeah,
Like why they wouldn't?
like
Yeah, right.
I just don't get that because it's like there's so much on the Switch that's been released, things that are still coming out for the Switch. For you to just release a new console and then for it to not be backwards compatible is criminal, especially with stuff with like NSO and like
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch
It's
Online.
literally one of the
Like,
best selling consoles ever, more than a Wii. Like,
If-
why would you not?
If they release what would be a successor to the Switch, then that would mean that they would, if it's backwards compatible, then the launch titles would be like 30,000 different games that are already on the eShop. So it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense, really.
I-
But at
I
the
do hope
I do hope
I do
exclusive
hope
titles
that,
are there, though.
I do hope that the eShop does improve though, because the Wii's eShop was great. The Wii U's was peak. 3DS was okay, but the Switch's eShop, oh my
Oh my
god,
god,
what
it's such a
happened?
shit.
That's another thing. The Wii U did so well, but then they just like gave up on that because the console didn't do well.
Yeah, the
It's like,
Wii U
Wii U-
software, weirdly enough, the software was amazing. It's just the hardware didn't sell well, and so I guess they just thought,
Yeah.
okay, let's just do the exact
Like all the
opposite of what
VC
that
stuff
did.
they did on Wii U, like all the DS and all that. Like,
Yeah,
God, I
DS
missed
was on
that.
there.
Yeah.
It's just never been on Virtual Console or anything before.
Wii U is such a
only
great
one to do
console
it.
for DS. It just works so well. That's how I like.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
unironically how I beat New Super Mario Bros. DS for the first time. I
Yeah,
never really
that's true.
played it before.
shit. Most speedrunners used Wii U.
It's a
VC
great
for
platform in general.
it's
Yeah.
good. And it's like it sucks because you go from there to Switch, and now all the closest we have to Virtual Console is the cloud. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
I have a kind of a hot take. You guys ready for this?
Okay.
I think the Nintendo Switch Online backwards compatibility with like NES, SNES, N64, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance.
Hmm.
I think that is better than what Virtual Console was.
Really?
Not
I
in
don't
terms
know.
of how it's been.
I don't like the
I
really
guess-
slow rollout of it.
I guess not really in terms of how it's been implemented, because I know some games are like cloud, and I don't really like that. Especially since the N64 games are so small; they're only 8 megabytes. I don't know why they'd make that cloud.
Yeah.
But I do think it's an improvement because now you don't have to buy every game individually.
That is true, but then you think
Yeah.
of like that. I will agree on that. That is a good point. Because like yeah, if you wanted to own like a lot of the games that you wanted, you did have to buy them individually. So I will say that it is true, but also that comes with quality. Because a lot of the games, like when N64 Online came out, it was painful.
It
Like
was.
Ocarina of Time, it was terrible, and still kind of is. 64 is kind of the same way. Like the input delay is very, very visible, and
Yeah.
like it's just not good. And it's like I don't know. I like GBA is kind of better. I kind of like GBA's. GBA's was handled a little better. I do wish that they had more games,
Yeah.
but GBA was pretty good. SNES is pretty decent, but it's just the N64 one, which I'm sure most people were looking forward to. That was probably the most disappointing.
I do think
Art.
the N64 one is very disappointing just because it's cloud. Like,
Yeah,
you didn't have to make it cloud. The N64 games aren't that big, and you don't have
They're
that
very
many
tiny
of them.
games.
Yeah.
But
Like,
I
they're
but I
very
do like how NES and SNES was handled because on Virtual
Yeah.
Console, NES games were $5 a pop. SNES was I think $8, and then
Yeah,
N64
and
was
N64 was
$10.
10.
You can get
Yeah.
a family plan for Nintendo Switch for a year for $30, and you can have like 10 people
You
on
have
that.
all those games.
And you
Yeah.
have access to, well, actually you don't have the N64 one because that would be the $80 plan. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I could probably find $80 worth of content in the NSO library that I otherwise would have found in Virtual Console if I were to buy them individually.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah,
Es-
I guess it's
especially
kinda
with
like-
like it was pretty bad when it first started, and when was it, 2018? Because there weren't that many
it
games, but it's been 6 years. There's now like a ton of games available.
Yeah, I think that's my only issue is just how slow the whole process is. It feels like they were just teasing us, like, oh, you want a new game?
Yeah,
Like,
it used to be
Yeah,
I
like
don't know.
yeah.
used to be like
Oh
new
God,
games every month. Now it's
I have a
every few
good
months.
example of that.
Mm.
So the Mario Party series, you have one,
Oh,
2,
yeah.
and 3. The first
Mm.
2 came out within like I think what was it? Within like I forgot when it was. It was like within a year or something like that.
Yeah,
They promised they were gonna put out 3, and it was a whole year that they just did not put out 3. And I'm like,
I
didn't
don't
y'all say
really.
y'all were gonna do this at this time? And then like a whole year passes and we finally get 3. Like at that point, I was already content with, playing it through other sources. I completely forgot, and then they just shadow dropped 3 on us, and it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was just like so
I
weird.
don't really understand why. I've said I don't understand like 10 times during this podcast so far. But I don't know why they do cloud at all. Because now you have to also be on Wi-Fi, and one of the points of the Switch is that you can take it anywhere.
Yeah, and not everywhere has Wi-Fi that you connect to,
Yeah,
especially if you're
if you're like
traveling.
in a
Yeah.
park bench, you can't just play Mario 64. Well, unless you have 3D All-Stars. I'll use a better
Which
example.
is
You can't
not
play Paper
continued.
Mario 64.
Yeah, or Banjo-Kazooie,
It just
or
baffles me.
you know,
Nintendo has the
it's
track record of making really good consoles but making really bad decisions.
yeah, this is a very
Yeah.
questionable, I feel.
Like I think all of their consoles are amazing. They're brilliant, but they just make such shitty decisions. Like
There's always
Yeah,
big flaws.
the
Yeah.
Mario 35 year anniversary.
Oh,
man,
It flopped
makes me so
so
sad.
badly because everyone hated Nintendo because Mario 35 was so big. It was such a good game, and then they just
I loved
canceled it
it.
for no reason. And
Yeah,
and now everyone bought 3D All Stars on console on digital. You can go to your local Target, I bet, right now and find 10 copies of 3D All Stars on the shelf still. And they stopped making
I
them in
still have my physical
2021.
copy.
yeah, I'm
I
glad I
still
got
have my
physical.
physical copy of 3D All Stars.
Yeah, most people got digital, but you could go anywhere probably and find a 3D All Stars. You could also go anywhere and find a Lottie amiibo. Weirdly,
It's like it's really saddening because the 35th
amiibo
anniversary
is another
seemed
thing.
so hype, but it was just like we didn't really like I said, they gave us 3D All Stars and they gave us Mario 35, both of which discontinued after March 31st, and it was just like, why?
Yeah,
Like Mario 35 was amazing, and I mean 3D All Stars was good. 64 was kind of disappointing, but other than that, like, I mean, you guys had such good stuff and just got rid of it so quickly.
I
Things
feel
that
like
were selling
Nintendo
pretty
doesn't
well.
treat Mario's anniversaries that seriously all the time. Because if you go back to the 25th year anniversary, it was Super Mario All Stars on Wii, where they
Oh my
basically just
god.
dumped the SNES ROM and then just gave you a half-filled music disc.
they
Like,
did. They
They
didn't
really
even.
did.
They didn't even
They
change
really did do
like.
that.
If you go to like the control menu, it's still the SNES like controller.
it's a really funny stat where like 99 point like something percent of the game disk is literally just empty data because
Yeah.
Wii discs
Yeah,
have like
yeah,
multiple
yeah.
gigabytes of storage, where the SNES ROM is just like 8 megabytes at most, like
Yeah.
4 to 8
You could
megabytes.
it's so small. You could take the disc out in the game, you could still play it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
It's so
actually insane that you could take the disc out and still be playing
It
it.
didn't even change
like
anything. They
that's
literally dumped the
crazy.
SNES ROM. Like what? I
Yeah,
don't
I
understand.
do
Oh, but we
think
added
Like,
a half-filled
that was just a
CD. That makes up
waste.
for it.
I do
That was
think
such a
that the
waste
30th
of
anniversary was pretty good though. We got Mario
that
Maker
one.
1 and I
That was the
think
best one, yeah.
and I
Mhm.
think I don't know if it was because of the 30th year anniversary of Mario, but we also got Nintendo World Championships back.
Oh
And
yeah,
we've
I'm pretty
only
sure it
had
was
two
because
since
of that.
then, but I hope they
Which
come
I
back eventually.
it's funny, I watched that. I watched the 2015 one, and
Yeah, John
that
Numbers.
was like it was so cool. And then they made another one in 2017, and I actually was in the audience for that one. It was
Oh,
very
that's
fun because
cool.
they had it held in New York, and it was great.
That's
Sick.
awesome.
Like they just haven't done it since,
They
and it's just
should they
like,
should do more of
what the heck?
I
those.
don't get why they don't make it like a yearly thing or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
they
it was
did one in
great.
2015, 2017. They didn't do 2019. I'd understand if they didn't do one in
It, I'm
2021.
pretty sure there's only
Well,
three on
yeah.
record. Pretty sure there's only 3 of them in total,
But yeah,
and one of them was in like the 90s, I think,
Like
or
those were
the
so
80s. I can't
successful though. I
remember.
don't know
yeah,
why they
one of them
wouldn't
was in
keep
like
doing it.
93. Yeah, those
Yeah.
were super successful. I have no clue.
Yeah.
Like I remember meeting so many cool like YouTubers there. Like, cause I
Yeah.
was I went to the one that was in. I was supposed to be one of the contestants, but I got robbed.
Nintendo's
But
Oh.
Nintendo's
yeah,
big enough
it was great,
that
and I got
Nintendo's big enough that if they did do that, they could probably expand that whole event into a Nintendo convention for like a yearly thing. Like
Yeah.
hold pretty much their own E3.
right.
I think it's weird that Nintendo's been like really strict with different tournaments and stuff over recent years,
Especially
yet
with,
they don't want to
exactly.
really host their like much themselves. Like I don't get
Yeah.
it.
especially
Like
with like
they've been
Smash.
so hard on Ultimate
Yeah, like
and
if you're gonna
Melee.
start
Oh
banning
my
stuff, like
god.
then why don't you make your own? Like why just ban and then walk away? Like you're not gonna like make something. Like
They have
Yeah.
Melee under a lock and key. I swear
Yeah.
they do.
it's
'Cause
ridiculous.
There
every
has-
chance they get, they shut down something.
I think there's
It's
only
insane.
one recorded time that Nintendo actually went back on something, and that was I forgot what year it was. Maybe it was like 2008, but they didn't. They told Evo that they couldn't have Melee because they wanted Brawl to be there, and there was public outlash against Nintendo.
Oh geez.
And
Yeah.
within hours they reverted it and said that Melee could be at Evo. And that's the only time I've ever seen Nintendo fold.
I mean, they picked the wrong time for that because Brawl was at a point
People
in
hated
Smash's
Brawl.
like legacy where it was considered one of the worst games in Smash. Like in Smash's like
Well, it
entire
was
series.
considered the worst game because there was only 3 at that
Yeah.
point. But
You know what I'm saying? It was considered the worst because I was talking about earlier how it got to a point where games were. It was. I was saying like it was like the Meleeified effect where it was the sequel to said game wasn't good because it wasn't that game exactly. Like Super
Yeah.
Paper
Yeah.
Mario with TTYD and Brawl with Melee. It was just like people hated it because it wasn't Melee. It was just
I
like,
do also think that Smash for Wii U, if it wasn't held back by also being on the 3DS, if it wasn't like limited to what they could do by
Oh, yeah.
sharing that character thing, what would be
The
roster,
sharing a
yeah.
roster,
Yeah.
they could have done so much more stuff.
the fact that Ice Climbers got scrapped because of the 3DS's limitations is crazy to me.
Yeah, the
Like,
Ice Climbers were
was
already
supposed to be
working.
in Smash 4.
They were working on the Wii U, and they just couldn't get it working on the 3DS because they couldn't have like 4 players all being Ice Climbers at the same time. Which
Like,
which is
weird.
crazy now, considering the Switch can have 8 players all being Ice Climbers.
I don't understand why. Like, I think 8-player Smash is like one of those things you do when you're like bored and you have your friends and it's just like, okay, whatever, we'll just do it
That
just
would
because
be-
we want to try it out.
that
But
would be
I don't
such a
think
crazy
I don't think
match.
I'll ever see any tournament actually do an 8-player Smash because
Dude,
that is
I'd
a lot
love-
of chaos.
I'd love an 8-player Smash tournament.
Crazy.
That would be so funny. That sounds like an Alpha Rad thing that he'd do at like
Yeah.
Summit. Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
know,
Amiibo
it's
too. Every time I think about Smash 4, I think about Amiibo because that's around the time that or actually no, the first batch of Amiibo were released when Smash 4 came out, and I think
unfortunately.
Amiibo's kind of taken a backseat, which
Oh yeah, for
I can
sure.
understand because
There
there's
hasn't been many games that it's been used for, like even on the Switch. Like Odyssey
Yeah, I don't
has
really
certain
associate
uses.
Switch with Amiibo because they really haven't emphasized that.
the game. I
Yeah.
think the only games that they've like specifically released Amiibo for the Switch, Smash obviously because they gotta
Yeah.
have one for every character, and then Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, and Splatoon 3.
I think 3D World
Hmm.
had one too. I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
though.
3D World did have one.
3D World had an
had
amiibo
2
release for it,
actually.
'cause you could get the white cat suit or whatever.
Right.
For 3D World.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
And Odyssey as well
they were
because
just
of the wedding outfits.
Oh yeah.
right. Yeah, they were just. I think Amiibo still has a lot of potential if they just put more into it.
I wish they kind of incorporated it like Skylanders almost, kind of like how Smash would do, like
Well,
with the amiibo fighters.
The
It would
last
be so
time,
sick.
they tried to make a game revolving around amiibos, we got Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
It was that
so-
and Mario versus DK. It
Oh
was like an amiibo version of that. Yeah.
But I think one of the things that was really cool on the Wii U was I forgot the name of it. But do you remember that game that was you scanned an amiibo and it gave you a random NES title to play?
Oh my god.
Yeah, what was it called? Best of NES, I think it was called, something like
Was
that.
it? I don't remember.
It was like Best of something, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember.
I don't think it was.
Or it was like something
No.
like that. It was meant to be a compilation thing. We're like, oh, buy an amiibo, get this game. I remember you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I think I
kind
know
of
what
like
you mean.
they
Amiibo
kinda, like,
Tap,
swept that under the rug.
Nintendo's
That's
greatest
what it
bits.
was. That's what it was. I knew it was like something great,
That
amazing.
was That was
That was
an
cool.
amazing idea that they just threw
Yeah.
away.
They could have done so much more with that, like with different
Really?
consoles and
Imagine
stuff.
if they
Like,
did that with SNES and N64.
Yeah. That'd
That
be
could have been
fire,
awesome.
honestly.
If they do that with
Like
like
we would
current
also get
Switch.
like we would also probably get other cool amiibo designs as well. Like
That's true.
with that sort of thing.
I fucking hate Nintendo. Never mind. Podcast canceled. I fucking hate Nintendo. I just remembered that they didn't include the costumes for Mario Maker 2.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did not. They didn't.
Pissed
They
off now.
completely scrapped the costumes from Mario Maker 2, which is surprising because like that was like one of my favorite things for the Mario 1 arts Mario 1 style for Mario Maker 1 was like being able to use the different amiibos,
Yeah, they were so
costumes and stuff.
awesome.
I thought it was so cool.
And then some characters weren't even amiibos. You just unlocked them through like the Mario challenge.
Yeah,
What was it?
like
The
through the
100
Mario
Mario challenge.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was awesome. But
Yeah.
who knows why
I'm
didn't they bring
sure
that
there was,
back?
I don't know. It's like, oh man, it was
Especially
so cool to
since
see that.
the Switch, I'm assuming Mario Maker 2 was built off Mario Maker 1.
Oh yeah,
well,
And
yeah.
the Switch
Surely.
already had amiibo capabilities built in.
It's been like it was like that from like
So-
Game 1, obviously.
I can't fucking stand Nintendo.
That baffled me so much that they just like pretended that like, oh no, that's just not a thing anymore, guys. We're not focusing on that.
And that would be
That's
so
how I feel
cool.
about Mii's kind of. I feel the same way about Mii's as well because like
Yeah.
they've kind of taken a back seat.
Yeah, I almost forget that
different-
Mii's are on Switch because it's not something
Yeah.
that you do it once and you kind of just don't think about it ever again.
I swear to
What
fucking God, if they
kills me-
make the new character creator Nintendo Switch Sports, I'm gonna kill someone.
What kills me? Okay, what kills me about that though is the fact that me. Okay, so the Mii's, you know, like how the Mii's are incorporated in the other consoles. They had a channel dedicated to them,
Mii
to where
channel.
you would go and
Yeah.
make them. The Switch is just hidden in settings.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll scroll right over it and you don't even see it. It's crazy.
I
Like,
think
I don't get it.
I think the Switch's UI could be improved a lot.
oh,
Oh, the Switch menu
100%.
sucks.
The Switch.
I'm looking at it right now and it's like, wow,
Like,
white and
I
black.
think they had
Great
a
options.
I think they had a lot of ideas for it, but
Yeah.
their execution was terrible. I think the themes thing, where you could either choose it to be dark or bright, I think that they were probably planning on making some sort of theme shop.
Yeah, like the 3DS. Like
Like
I don't
the
get why they
3DS,
couldn't
yeah.
just do that.
Yeah,
I was about to say
there
that.
there are a lot of good ideas online that I see though about like a Switch 2 UI, and it looks a lot like Xbox's UI honestly, but it looks so much better than what it is currently. Oh my God.
It's like, I mean, and there's like nothing like a lot of people. I see a lot of people kind of complain about the Wii U's, but it's like the Wii U's is nice. I kind of like how lively everything was, especially
Yeah.
like even like the music in the background is so like relaxing. Even the Wii's music was, you know, there's something there. The 3DS, the Switch has no music
Nothing.
for its main menu. It's just
Yeah, no.
silence, complete silence. And
I
don't get me
think-
wrong, the Switch's menu does its job and it does it very well, I might add. You go into games and very quickly, if you want to switch to another game, you can do that, and it's very quick and to the point.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean it's just because it's
love
so
Switch
simple.
for
Like
that.
you can't mess it up. Like
Yeah, but it's
I-
like,
But I do
could've-
think they what's the opposite of hitting gold? Hitting coal.
I guess,
yeah, I guess.
I think they hit
Yeah.
coal when they didn't re-implement folders correctly.
oh, the folder system.
Oh,
is so
yeah.
cool. I really like that.
Because they have some kind of folders thing. If you go into all games and then I think press the R button, you can have folders. You can add folders, put in games that you've completed or you want to play, what yada yada
Yeah.
yada. But you can't just make a folder and put all your games in it. You can't organize your games in a good way.
Yeah, it's just like a groups thing. It's like weird.
It's
Like
really weird. Oh
like,
yeah, they're not even
it'll-
called folders. They're called groups.
they're called groups. Yeah, I've organized my games, but it's like 9 times out of 10, I forget that it's even a feature, and I end up just looking for the game that I want to play instead of just like
Yeah.
looking for the organized list that I spent time on doing. It's just like
I do like
Yeah, that's weird.
I do like the different sorting options though. I think the sorting options for like playtime is cool because then, well,
yeah,
obviously if I have the most playtime in it, chances are I'm going to be playing that.
yeah, playtime or longest or shortest by title, publisher. Like I do like
Yeah.
the little like the options you can put for that.
Yeah. I also
Yeah.
think I think one of their really good ideas was so you know the gold points, right, that you get from buying a digital
Yeah.
game. If you
Yeah.
buy a physical game, you can then put it in your Switch, press start, and then get points from it.
Yeah.
Granted, you have the game has to be like less than a year old to do that still, but I think that was a really good idea because then it incentivizes people even if they don't get it on digital. Unfortunately, you get less if you're on physical, but
Yeah.
again, Nintendo just makes such
I do
crappy
also
decisions.
yeah. I do also like the idea of I mean they don't give you a lot of points for this, but like you can use your points towards purchases of other games, which I thought was pretty cool. So I
Well,
think the
yeah.
ratio of that is pretty bad, but I do like the idea. Like 300 points for a game is crazy.
It,
That would
it,
mean like say if you decided you wanted to buy a game just purely on gold points, you'd have to buy like you'd have to buy like 20 or more games just to get enough for one AAA game. Like that's so
yeah.
That's
fun.
so
So
crazy.
for a $60 game, you get 300 point. If it's a Nintendo licensed game for
Yeah. That's
$60,
even
you
yeah,
get
you also have
300
to
gold
keep
points.
time account.
And so to get $60 in total,
Yeah.
in gold points, you'd need to buy 20 $60 games,
Right.
which is I think more than $1,000.
Yeah.
Let me check.
That
What's 60
the
times
ratio is
20?
not good. 60 times
Well, I
20,
guess that would be
that's
6 times 2, so 1,200.
yeah, 1200. Yeah,
Jeez.
it's
So
$1,200 worth of
you can
games
spend
for one $60
1,200.
game.
You can spend 1,200 to get $60 off. That's what I'm saying.
It's just
What a
it's
reasonable
just like
offer.
the
And
ratio
that
isn't.
is the economy.
Yeah, the ratio there.
Sucks.
Yeah, the
Stocks.
ratio there is not it. But
Oh my
I like the
God.
idea. I do like the idea. I think it's a good idea. I just wish they kind of made it better. You know, like again, like most things
Like
that
most things
Nintendo has
that they
done.
end up doing.
I
Um,
don't know.
I don't know what they're gonna if they do that whole Switch attach thing because I assume that means it's just attachable Joy-Cons at that point. So what are they gonna do with the current Joy-Cons?
Yeah, I was gonna say because if they're calling
Mm.
it attached, clearly that has to mean something with the
Something.
Joy-Cons. That just means they're going right back to the Wii U. That defeats the whole purpose of
Yeah, they
having a
are.
whole detached Joy-Con stick. Like, I don't understand that.
I got an idea. They're gonna make you attach Wii remotes to the side of the Switch,
Oh my god.
and one of them will
Want to
have
play
a
Mario
circle pad.
Galaxy? A 2P Mario Galaxy? Like, what's
Oh
going
my,
on, man?
with a brick.
Yeah, the brick.
Oh my God. All right, I think that is almost all the time we have. Storster, I just want to ask you one more question.
Yeah, sure.
What is next for Storster?
Um, that's a very big question. I have a lot of different plans, but I have a lot of ambitious things for this year. I'm trying to branch out a lot right now.
Mhm.
I love Mario and all, but if things get a little tiring after a bit, I gotta switch it up a
Yeah.
little bit. I just released a video on Kirby Superstar, which
I
was
saw it.
something very different for me, but I had a lot of fun doing it.
Loved it.
I admittedly have not even played it before. It's just a game that I've really enjoyed watching, and I was like, I need to get into this, and I'm probably gonna play it casually, like next week or something. But yeah,
Awesome.
I'm trying to branch out of my little Mario hole, I guess. Like, I'm currently working on another Mario World video because I think that's the one Mario game I will never be able to like fully go away from. But in general, I really want to branch out.
Yeah.
I don't want to like spoil anything right now, but I definitely have some more Kirby ideas, and I have some other related platformers in the same kind of similar realm that I 100% am making a video on as we speak. So
That's
yeah, I have a
awesome.
lot of things up in the air.
Sweet. Storster, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on the show. It means a lot to us, especially as our second
Yeah.
guest. We can't get a lot right now because we don't, because not a lot of people know we have a podcast. But it really means a lot to us that you'd come on.
Yeah, of course.
Go
I-
follow,
I
subscribe to Storster, anything, all that good stuff. I've been
honestly,
Joker.
these
Anything you'd like to say, Needle?
I was gonna say, I guess before we sign off, that like, these podcasts are only gonna get better and better as, more people start to hear about them and join. And we were glad to have you on today. I think this was a nice good 2-hour talk.
Yeah.
I felt very engaged, and I think the future future of this channel, not even just the podcast, are just gonna improve. And
I really hope so.
I'm very happy to be doing this with such good people. So
Yeah. Alrighty, Storster. Well, we'd love to have you on some other time. Anything you'd like to plug real quick?
I guess really my YouTube, that's my one thing. I've already thrown that out there. But yeah, besides that, thank you so much for having me. I will definitely be around again if you ever want me.
Alright,
Yeah.
I've been Joker, he's been Needle, she's been Patty. Nice to see you all. Thanks everyone for watching.